Welcome to ESPN's coverage of college football, presented by Cars.com. And welcome to West Texas. We're at Jones AT&T Stadium. It is sold out today to watch the Red Raiders take on the Oklahoma Sooners. And we welcome you here to Texas Tech. Hi again, everyone. Bob Wischusen with Matt Millen. Quint Kesnick will join us in just a moment. And Quint will have plenty of injury news from down on the field because, Matt, that's been the story of the week for both of these teams. We'll start with OU and a quarterback change today.
Well, Trevor Knight's been beat up, and so Trevor Knight won't go today. Cody Thomas will be the redshirt freshman who gets his start. Now, what Knight gave you was ability to move in the pocket, and they used it to his advantage and to their advantage. Cody Thomas, not as agile, not as much movement in the pocket, can make all the throws, but this is his very first start. And so I would expect to see a lot of pressure on him. And so to combat that, what you want to do is run the football. You've got to be able to control it. And so Samaje Perine, number 32, is just a freshman, big, powerful kid, has all the skills you want, and he's also a very good blocker. And then you got Keith Ford, number 21. This guy is kind of the in-between guy. He also has some speed to be able to get down the field. And then Alex Ross, both these guys are just freshmen, sophomores rather. They can get the job done, and they'll have to rely on all three of them if they're going to get a win here today. And
Texas Tech has struggled to stop the run, 119th in the country in run defense. But this was pregame. I think they're ready, at the very least, to play.
Seen a lot of teams that are ready in the pregame.
Should be a good one between Texas Tech and Oklahoma. And when we return, we'll go down to Quint with even more injury updates. Will Sterling Shepard play today at wideout for Oklahoma? Will it be Davis Webb or Patrick Mahomes at quarterback? We'll find out and kick it off when we return. Welcome back to Lubbock. A moment ago, the Red Raiders set to take the field as they will try and get a win. They've only won one game so far in the Big 12 this year, and it will be guns up today against Oklahoma. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen upstairs, and downstairs we've got Quint Kesnick. And Quint, even more injury updates to give you.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes will start this game at quarterback for Texas Tech. Davis Webb will be the emergency backup, and Vincent Testaverde will be the third stringer. Well, how'd we get here? You got to go back 2 weeks. Webb's been banged up all season with shoulder injury and an ankle injury. Mahomes started against Texas, and the freshman took a monstrous shot. Quandre Diggs, top of your screen. Watch this hit. Boom. I mean, you talk about a KO shot. Mahomes, though, benefiting from the bye week, the extra week, he's able to pass the head injury protocol and practice this week. Davis Webb, still a little nicked up with a shoulder and ankle injury. He's got 24 touchdowns, but he's the backup. And I think the key for Mahomes, Bob, he's a dual sport athlete. He's got a lot of poise. He's an excellent pitcher, 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and he can run and extend plays, and that may come in handy for Cliff Kingsbury today.
Well, Cliff Kingsbury was given a huge contract at the very start of this season, off the win in the Holiday Bowl last year against Arizona State. And the natives a little bit restless here in Lubbock because at 11-11 and a 3-6 record this season, Matt, the question is, did they give him a contract that he should have maybe earned over more of a course of time too soon?
Yeah, well, that's going to be the question, and the answer is it doesn't matter because they've signed him. He's theirs. He's got the skills and abilities to be able to make it work. What he's got to be able to do is he needs some better players, particularly on defense. But this offense that he's tried to put together is young in a lot of spots. But this defense, if the defense plays well today, they'll have a shot.
Unfortunately for Texas Tech, their defense has not played well for the majority of the season. They are really short-handed. You're talking about a team that has junior college transfers on their defensive line and a tremendous amount of youth in the secondary.
Well, with Cody Thomas making his first start, I would think we are going to see a lot of run-heavy offense out of this Oklahoma Sooner offense. They have a massive offensive line, and let's see if they don't try to take advantage of that.
So Oklahoma will start with the football, and the ball was rolling off the tee as Kramer Fife tried to put it in play. So they will re-tee. The wind is howling here and swirling at Jones AT&T Stadium. Q, you're down there. It seems like this is going to be a game, especially on special teams, where the elements will play a part.
Yeah, you know, earlier during warm-ups, I wrote down left to right wind at about 15 miles an hour. 2 seconds later, it's right to left. So it is swirling on a possession-to-possession basis. These special teams coaches and head coaches will have to decide.
See if it stays on the tee here for Kramer Fife. Alex Ross and Deron Neal are back deep to receive, and now they'll have to bring someone in to hold the ball.
Way to go,
for Kramer Fife.
You jinxed him right off the start.
I'm good at that.
You are really good at
the announcer jinx, extraordinarily well executed by yours truly again.
Well done.
Hey, it's near Thanksgiving in West Texas. What do you expect? You're going to get some breezy days. And
although I will say this, what a phenomenal day. Yesterday it was pretty darn cold. Today it's gorgeous.
So Tevin Madison will go in and hold it for Fife. And on the third try, we'll see if we can get underway. A returnable kick. Dropped by Neal. It comes out to the 6-yard line where he scoops it up. Check that Ross. And Ross gets out to about the 23. So a nervous moment on special teams for OU. And Quint, let's go back down to you again. It looks like Sterling Shepard not only is going to play today, but it looks like he'll head out there and start today's game with the Oklahoma offense.
Yeah, he injured his groin on November 1st early in that Iowa State game. Did not play last week against Baylor. Warmed up to the approval of head coach Bob Stoops. And Shepard is a big weapon back in this lineup. 50 receptions, 5 touchdowns. He can stretch the field. He's one of the better playmakers in the Big 12 Conference.
And Matt, for Cody Thomas, that has to be a really nice security blanket to have on the field with Shepard playing. And they'll start with play action. Incomplete. Blake Bell was the intended receiver. So Cody Thomas making his first start. He plays outfield for the Oklahoma baseball team, so he is a player that has a lot of athletic skill, but still starting on the road for the first time in conference. That's a challenge.
Yeah, I actually like that call to kind of keep people off balance, but right now I'm going to expect a run, and I'm going to expect this defense to bring people down, and here they come. They're bringing them down.
P. Ryan right up the middle, close to a first down. So let's take a look at today's impact players, brought to you by Jared the Galleria of Jewelry, and those two backs expected to play a huge role today for Oklahoma.
And they're young. Alex Ross, just a sophomore, has got great speed. Samaje Perine, big, powerful guy, can beat you inside. Pete Robertson, the defensive end, is their lone guy who's got the intensity and the ability to be able to get the edge in the pass rush.
3rd down and 2. Play clock down to 7 as Cody Thomas looked over and now gets his team set. They'll try and run for it. Nice cutback by Perine, another one. And he dives out to about the 42-yard line. J.J. Gaines eventually made the stop after an 11-yard pickup.
Perine is a special player. I mean, if you look at him physically, he's a guy who's mature and he's gifted. But he also has in those gifts very good feet in the hole. And so you'll see this cut like right here. You know, that stuff, a lot of guys can see it. Not everybody can make it. Perine can make it.
They'll give it to him again. And this time he fights his way for about 2.5.
Now that's exactly what Texas Tech wants this running game to do. They want it to run sideways. As long as they're going sideline to sideline, they're not gaining any yards. If you can get these backs that way, you've done your job. And the majority of this is going to come down to being able to hold up on the inside. You've got to be able, they're not very big inside, Texas Tech defense. They've got to be able to hold the point to force it sideways.
A little tunnel screen to Deron Neal. And he's dragged down about 4 yards shy of the first down by Sam Aguavin, who is back in the lineup and healthy this week for Texas Tech. So it will be 3rd down and about 3.
So one of the best things you could do for a young quarterback is if you're going to get into 3rd down, make it 3rd and manageable and have a big offensive line in front of you with these backs.
And Mike Smith, the defensive coordinator for Texas Tech, spent 9 years on Rex Ryan's staffs, Baltimore and New York. Back to throw is Thomas. Out in the flat, he's got a man. It's Aaron Ripkowski, the fullback, who leaked out and picks up the first down. So we expect to see Mike Smith trying to dial up some exotic pressures today, a la Rex Ryan. But does he have the horses to pull that off up front against this offensive line for Oklahoma?
It's one thing to bring people and bring numbers. It's another thing to cover people on the outside. You just saw Justice Nelson coming up on the outside after there was a kind of a pick that they set there. Sets up this first.
P. Ryan up the middle. Maybe a yard. Rika Levi was there to make the stop. Rika Levy, pardon me.
Yeah, Rika Levy, there's Mike Smith right there. Now their interim defensive coordinator. He's got a good football mind. He knows exactly what he has to do. And like you said, Shoes, you've got to be able to have the guys to be able to pull off what you want to do, number one. You can take chances. Where he's really going to have to take chances is on the outside with man coverage. Because the only way to help inside is to bring extra people down in the box.
A slant on second down, broken up. Deron Neal, the intended receiver. Let's head back to Reese for the first time today. Hello, Reese.
Hello, guys. Taco Bell studio update. The end of the South Carolina-Florida game. We're in overtime. Gators by 3, and Dylan Thompson keeps it for the win. Gamecocks at 5-5, and a hurtful loss for Florida, who still had hopes of somehow winning the SEC East. Those go by the boards. 23-20 the final.
Off to a tight start here.
Here's the pass rusher. That's their hope off the edge.
Play clock winding down. 3rd down and 10. It's only a 4-man rush. Thomas, long throw to the sideline. Short hopped it. Incomplete. And Texas Tech gets a stop.
So Mike Smith opts to show you that they're bringing pressure, and then he backs out. And so he rushes the 4 and keeps 7 in coverage. You know you have 10 yards. You keep everything in front of you. Rika Levy does a decent job of getting some kind of pressure. That ball should have been completed. Poor throw.
So Jed Barnett will try and pin Texas Tech deep. And this will get the job done for Oklahoma. Takes a sideways hop to the 13-yard line. Texas Tech with their first opportunity, and the freshman Mahomes at quarterback when we return. Back in Big 12 country here in Lubbock. ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen upstairs. Down on the field, Quint Kesnick, and the first offense opportunity for Texas Tech from inside their own 15-yard line. The freshman Patrick Mahomes starts off 1 for 1. Devin Lauderdale makes the catch, gets popped out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. It's a gain of 7, and he might turn out, Matt Millen, according to the coaching staff, to be the best pitcher that Texas Tech baseball has ever had. But he starts at quarterback today. He's got a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and here he'll air one out down the sideline. It's a jump ball through the hands of Bradley Marquez and incomplete, so it sets up 3rd down and 3.
Well, there's no question that he has good athleticism. He has himself a nice arm. What he also has is no experience. And so what he's going to have to do right here is calm himself down. Look, getting the 3rd and 4 is manageable. It's important for this offense to get a little kind of momentum. And so getting first downs and moving the chains is going to be important for this group.
Quentin White empties the backfield on 3rd down and about 3.5. Only a 3-man rush for OU. Mahomes still under some pressure. To the sideline, he's got Marquez. That's a first down for Tech. Close to midfield, bumped down at the 46.
You got an OSU, you got a Oklahoma guy down. Yeah, and so they go with a 3-man rush, which means they're dropping 8 and they're playing a zone. And when you're in zones like this, you have to be aware of not only things in front of you, but behind you, especially if it's 3rd and 4. The guy it looks like it's down is Jordan Phillips, number 80, who I happen to think is their best lineman. Jordan Phillips is a powerful, powerful kid. And I thought the matchup of him inside against Jared Castor was going to be a key thing for this Oklahoma defense. Just a sophomore.
And a redshirt sophomore. He was a medical redshirt last season with a back injury, but he's been much more stable this season. 334 pounds, 4 tackles for loss. couple of sacks, and he's the force in the middle of that defensive front for OU.
Yeah, he's just figuring it out. He's just learning how to play defensive line inside with his hands, keeping his pad level down. And to be honest with you, he needs to keep his motor up all the time, because there's some times where it's not there. When he's on, he is really tough to block.
Watching tape with you this week, he was one of the players that jumped out to you as you think having a pretty bright future.
He's got it. He's got to be consistent. And that consistency has a lot to do with his motor.
So a good start for Patrick Mahomes. A third down conversion, and he'll run it. Can't get loose in the backfield. Gets dropped for a loss of a couple. Eric Stryker made the stop. And it's hard to believe that this is the 16th year on the sidelines at OU for Bob Stoops, the winningest coach in Sooner history. And all he's done is win the Big 12 every other year he's been in Norman.
Stoopsy is, I'm a big fan of Bob Stoops. He knows how to coach football. He knows how to get his team right. He'll be fine.
Mahomes well protected on 2nd and long. He finds the true freshman Ian Sadler into OU territory. 2 yards shy of a first down.
Okay, so what you're seeing right now for Texas Tech is very promising. No pressure, and Oklahoma has not tightened their coverage. A week ago against Baylor, it baffled me what they were doing in their coverage, and they've stayed off. Now here he goes, 3rd and about 4.5. They're tightening it up a little bit, and that's what they have to be able to do.
And Jordan Phillips is back on the field for Oklahoma on 3rd and 4. They set up the screen. Very close to the first down. White, it looks like he's got it. Let's see where they mark him out. Right at the line to make. And that is a first down for Tech.
And Shoes, with every reception and with every completion, this offense gains confidence. And Mahomes, as he's going, you know, he's standing up a little straighter. He's feeling better about himself. And that's what this offense needs if they're going to have any shot here today.
Another quick throw to the sideline, complete. This time it's Dylan Cantrell. And let's take a look at the impact players, brought to you by Jared the Galleria of Jewelry, and Jordan Phillips back on the field now for OU.
Well, we talked about Jordan Phillips and what kind of a player he is, and when his motor's on, he's as good as there is inside. DeAndre Washington is, when they do run the football, this kid's got quicks, he's got vision, and he's got a really good first 2 steps. So they'll need him as this game goes on, just in terms of the quickness.
His first carry.
There it is.
First down.
He's got good vision. You know, some guys can see things and they just can't quite get there. You saw that with Samaje Perine. He has the vision and he can get the movements. Washington's got the same thing.
When you were playing linebacker, how quickly were you able to diagnose a running back on the other side and say, I've got my hands full today, this guy can see it?
Great question, because here's the deal. The best linebackers are washed out running backs. They can see the things, they just couldn't quite get there. I'll give you a story. Barry Sanders, who I consider the best runner I've ever seen. And a lot of people would agree with me. I was talking to B one day and I was like, Barry, how the heck do you see those things? How do you get there? And he goes, well, you see the same things I see. I can just get there. Like,
good explanation.
Good point by you. Vision is a critical thing. The reality is, peripherally, some guys don't see it as well as others. The great ones see the whole field. The good ones see tackle to tackle. The average ones see what's in front of them.
What looked like a first down for DeAndre Washington is actually about an inch short. So it sets up 3rd down, and the nose of the football to gain for Texas Tech, try and keep the drive alive. So you would describe yourself as a washed-out running back? Is that the Matt Millen bio now?
Absolutely, yeah. I was very good right up until somebody tackled you.
Here's Kenny Williams in a tailback. He's the leading rusher the last 2 years for Texas Tech, and now maybe a false start. This changes things now for Cliff Kingsbury's team. Now it's 3rd and 5.
False start. Offense, number 35. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And if there was an Achilles heel for this team this season, that's it. Not only last year were they the 2nd most penalized team in all of FBS, but they have continued that problem, unfortunately, this year, backing themselves up here to 3rd down and 5.
That just speaks to discipline, and that's taking care of the little things. Here comes
OU shows blitz, and here they come. Lobbing it down the sideline is Mahomes. Jakeem Grant was the intended receiver. No one was home, and it was Eric Stryker that came untouched. And now a decision to make for Texas Tech. Fourth down and 5.
Jordan Thomas down here was lucky because they did the double move on the outside, and had Jakeem been able to get on the top side, that was 6. I like this call.
So Texas Tech at 1 and 5 in Big 12 play. Why not go for it on 4th and 5?
They've got to be able to protect up inside, give them a pocket to be able to step up into.
Play clock winding down. They barely get the snap off. Mahomes over the middle. He's got a first down hookup. Dodging tacklers is Quentin White. A flag thrown late in the secondary as well.
Mahomes doesn't get any pressure up in his face. He can handle the outside by stepping up. But you're going to see White right here, and all he's going to do is circle back inside. As they drop, his job is to set in the middle. You always put somebody over the middle of the ball.
The result of the play is a first down. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense number 6. It's a 15-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. It'll be 1st and 10 from that spot.
So the best and the worst of Texas Tech. Their offense, they can always move the ball, and they convert on 4th down. The biggest problem they've had, though, turnovers and penalties. And now they commit a foul that basically puts them all the way back to where they just were before the 4th down conversion.
Yeah, there's an old rule. Don't beat yourself. Not a hard one, but boy, they have a hard time learning it.
A strike thrown right down the middle by Mahomes. For a second, it looks like he was going to tuck it under and run. Instead, he waited for that late window to Jakeem Grant, and it came open.
And that late window happened because he took off and ran. And when he did that, it forced those backers up and created the window, and he was able to take advantage of it. There's nothing more effective than a quarterback who's got some feet to be able to create.
Tech in the red zone. Play action. Mahomes on a rollout. Avoids a sack. And gets to the 15-yard line. Did well to scramble for 4 yards.
That is more than I thought you'd get out of Mahomes. You really haven't seen that. You can see the athleticism. That was a nice job of getting him up the field and then just taking advantage of the defender coming back underneath. It sets up this 2nd and 6. He's very comfortable in this range. He's using the whole field.
He's a terrific athlete, and as we said, a baseball pitcher. His dad, Pat Mahomes, was an 11-year middle reliever in the big leagues. And this time he goes to the ground attack in DeAndre Washington. It'll set up 3rd down and between 3 and 4. Charles Tapper made the tackle for Oklahoma. But not only with the Mets, the Twins, also a Pittsburgh Pirate. At one point during his career, Pat Mahomes had a terrific long middle reliever career in the big leagues, pitched for 6 different big league teams. Also the Red Sox, the Texas Rangers, and the Cubs.
Free play.
Into the end zone, and flags down at the snap.
Offside. Defense, number 92, contact in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Yardage results in a first down.
And that's why they blew it completely dead, because it was contact. If they had just gone into the neutral zone, they'd have let that play continue.
So now it's 1st and goal for Texas Tech.
I got to tell you right now, the offensive line of Texas Tech is doing a great job against this OU front. They are giving Mahomes plenty of time, and these receivers are finding holes. If I'm OU right now, I'm locking my guys up. Get locked up there on coverage and make Mahomes throw into a small window.
They run the option. The pitch wide to DeAndre Washington. He's out of bounds at the 5. And these two teams normally completely the opposite of what we're getting here early in the first quarter. It looks like Tech will most likely strike first, and yet Oklahoma is 4th in the country in point differential in the first quarter.
And so what has to happen right now for Oklahoma is they've got to hold it to 3. Conversely, this Texas Tech offense, they need points. They need 7, not 3.
They say Washington stepped out at about the 7. They'll swing it to the 5. Kenny Williams makes a move. He's at the pylon. Brought down just shy of the goal line. It'll be 3rd down and goal at the 1. Ahmad Thomas saved the touchdown.
That's a really nice play call by Cliff Kingsbury. You have the play action to the inside, and you get the back in the flat right away. And as soon as you do that, you just dump it. And then it's just speed. Big down right here for this OU defense.
A little late getting set for Tech. Play clock at 10. 3rd down and goal at the 1. Another penalty.
This is unbelievable. It's a point drill.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Did you hear that in the background? It was like, yeah, it didn't hold. They never hold.
So that's 25 yards of penalties on Texas Tech on this drive. You know, it's hard enough when you start at your own 13-yard line to go 87 yards to begin with. They're making this, if they're going to score a touchdown, add in the penalty yardage. You got to go about 115 yards to get it in the end zone.
Yeah, but here's what's happened right now. They actually kind of helped themselves with this penalty, gave themselves a little bit more room to be able to work their routes.
3rd down and goal at the 6, and now a timeout will be called by Texas Tech. So we'll step aside for just a moment. Red Raiders trying to strike first when we come back.
ESPN College Football is presented by Cars.com. All drive, no drama.
The Sabre flight drill team composed of an elite group of Texas Tech students. Sabres are distinguished by wearing the white cord, performing their duties with excellence. And this has been an excellent opening drive, minus the penalties for Texas Tech. They have it 3rd down and goal at the 6 after the timeout. Patrick Mahomes is 8 for 10 for 96 yards on this drive. He's found 7 different receivers.
Marquez is the guy with the sure hands. You got to be able to get the ball to him.
Escapes the pocket. Mahomes with a pump fake, flips it into the end zone. Wide open, Jakeem Grant for the Texas Tech touchdown.
That was all Mahomes' feet. Same thing we saw on 3rd down. When he starts to move forward, you'll watch the defense come towards him. Right here, they make a choice. Now it's inside. See the eyes come back inside? The eyes came back inside, and that was the difference in the play. Looked like Stephen Parker, number 11. When he started to run, his eyes went from his receiver to the quarterback, and there's your difference.
Ryan Buston with the point after. Caps a 16-play touchdown drive. And Texas Tech, they're on their feet here in Lubbock. They've got the early 7-0 lead.
All right, so you know you're going to have 3 on 2 on the top side. Here's your key. You have an inside, you have to build the wall. So anytime that they come to an inside move, this defender is going to let him go, and it falls on him. In this case, it's Stephen Parker, number 11. And so 11 then becomes a man-to-man guy right there. It is now his coverage the whole way. Here's his mistake. Look at his eyes. It's back inside. Once the quarterback, Mahomes, starts to run, he views here. There's the difference. When you're in man coverage, regardless if it's a combination of or not, when you're in man, stay on your man. Once you look back inside, you're beat.
Eye discipline. I know that's something you talk about a lot.
All the time.
there's a breakdown, and that's a true freshman at safety, Stephen Parker, trying to play it both ways.
Yeah, what he's trying to do is do too much. Here's a very simple rule for all you high school players out there. It's real simple. Know and do your job. Don't try to do more. Don't try to tackle the quarterback. That's somebody else's job. Your job is to cover your man, cover him.
No chance for a return for Alex Ross, and let's head back to Reese.
Bob Stanton, my role is to provide the Dr. Pepper conference update, and it is a weird day in the Big 12. Kansas and TCU. Kansas getting the touchdown pass from Cummings to Jimmy Mundine, made it 13-7. Now keep your eye on this next play. Greg Allen comes on the field. He's not supposed to be there. He was the 12th guy. The pick six by Ja'Cory Shepherd is waved off because Kansas had an extra guy on the field, but still the Jayhawks are on top of number 4 TCU, 13-7 in the second quarter.
Talk about sleepwalking your way through the start of a game. TCU struggling in Lawrence, and Oklahoma struggling in Lubbock to start. They'll run it with Keith Ford. He tries to turn the corner and does. Breaks a tackle and fights his way for a first down. And Quint, you're down there on that Oklahoma sideline. Was this a team that, from your standpoint, seemed like they were ready to play this game?
No, I've seen no indication, both during warm-ups and then in the first 11 minutes of this ball game, that they are emotionally engaged and emotionally ready to play this ball game. That is a dangerous proposition when you go through the motions, especially on the road. And kind of predictable coming off that Baylor loss. Bob, I haven't seen any examples of player leadership on the bench. You know, maybe a senior captain going up and down the sidelines, try to provide a spark. They need a big play on offense or a monster hit. This team is flat as a pancake.
Shoes, you want to get this thing going? It's really simple. Let your offensive line maul that defensive front. Make them prove they can stop you. That's all you have to do. Hand the ball off.
Well, they just did on first down and had an apparent first down and then a holding penalty. Now they'll try it on first again with Keith Ford. And this time Texas Tech's interior D was ready. DJ Fehoko came up along with Sam McGuavin. That's a gain of only 1, maybe 2 yards. So now it's second down and a mile.
But a nice job of that defensive inside guy. I think it was Rika Levy who did not move. Man, he's a big man. He's got some stout to him. Some people say that heft. Others just call it just weight. A little excess avoirdupois, I might add. However, that guy, when he sits down, it's hard to block him.
Play action for Cody Thomas. Long throw to the sideline, incomplete. Now it'll be third down and 16. Deron Neal was the intended receiver.
Okay, so for Texas Tech, it's exactly where you want this team. Third and long. You don't have to necessarily get a great rush. You can drop in coverage, and you want to make that young quarterback be accurate.
You got to look at Mike Smith, the defensive coordinator. The regular defensive coordinator start the year, Matt Wallerstadt, resigned back in September. So Mike Smith has been calling the defenses for Texas Tech since. And now it'll be third down and longer.
Yeah.
False start. Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Oftentimes what happened, Cody Thomas, just a freshman and a new voice, and his cadence is different. And Adam Shedd, big number 74, that left guard of theirs, he didn't quite have that stuff down. There has to be consistency out of your play caller's cadence. Dropping 8, looks like they're going to rush 3.
On third and 21. Thomas, high throw up the seam, and it's incomplete. Blake Bell was the intended receiver, but that pass had no chance to squeeze through 3, maybe 4 Red Raider defenders as J.J. Gaines was lurking.
Yeah, this is just smart defense. You're going to rush your 3, and now you want depth. They have to get 16 yards. This is really well played by the linebacker underneath. That's Pete Robertson. All he has to do is stay in front of him. That forces the ball high, and that gives your back 3 a chance to make a play.
So Jed Barnett from the goal line kicks it away. And it takes a Texas Tech bounce on the sideline. And OU will eventually down it, but in Oklahoma territory. So great field position for Texas Tech for their second possession. Let's take a look back, though, at their first possession, our Mitsubishi drive recap. And this was a 16-play touchdown drive that the Red Raiders spread around to start the game.
And inevitably it came down to one guy, and that was Mahomes. Mahomes' feet in the critical situations were the difference in that drive, because surely they tried not to do it by having 25 yards of penalties. So Mahomes was able to overcome those things and make the big play when he had to.
Washington on first down for 2 yards. The helmet of Big Chuka Ndule bounced off, so Ndule has to come off for at least one snap.
The one thing that Oklahoma's defense doesn't have, really, is a pure pass rushing. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you know, you got Eric Stryker. Stryker he's a speed guy, and he just tries to come off the edge. That's it. They need a legitimate pass rusher. They don't have him.
They bring pressure here, but it's picked up by Texas Tech. Still, though, a deflected ball coming out from Patrick Mahomes. And a couple of Sooners had a chance at an interception. Dominique Alexander was lurking. Sets up 3rd down and 8.
You know, what you saw right there is a baseball delivery. And sometimes that gets you in trouble. And it's the long stride and throw it into like he's coming off the mound, like he's pushing off the rubber. He needs to shorten that thing up just a little bit, and that ball will come out a little quicker.
Mahomes extending the play, flag out. And he'll throw it down the sideline, wide open. He's got Ian Sadler, who's in for a touchdown. But the flag thrown in the offensive backfield. It will be holding against Tech.
This kid's pretty good, Shoes.
Offense, number 56, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
He's got a little something.
No, he's got a lot of something. He's got what you can't teach. Mahomes has a little bit of poise in the pocket. You cannot, you either have that or you don't have it. And that guy, he's got a little bit.
We talked with Eric Morris, the offensive coordinator, about Mahomes yesterday. And he said, look, this was a kid that was not only all-state in baseball, and that might be his brightest future sport. He was all-state in basketball, all-state in football. All he did in his high school career was win. And he might have a free play here. He does. He'll take a shot down the sideline. And it's incomplete. Why not, though? He recognized that Stryker was in the neutral zone, so this penalty will go against Oklahoma.
Offside. Defense, number 19, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Yeah, that's Eric Stryker. I talked to you a little bit about him earlier. Eric Stryker, his first 2 steps are really, they're pretty amazing, actually. If he can beat you on those first 2 steps, he'll beat you. But if I'm pass rushing him, I'm inviting him to the outside because he never goes inside. He's just an outside pass rusher with speed. Those guys are a lot more defendable.
3rd down and 13. Just into Oklahoma territory. Mahomes, high throw down the sideline, incomplete. A late flag comes out. Ahmad Thomas had a chance at an OU pick, but a late flag thrown in the secondary. And this might give Texas Tech a free 1st down.
I don't think it was on Thomas. He was
holding. Defense, number 10, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic, 1st down.
Yeah, that's Quentin Hayes. Yeah, Hayes was back underneath. It looked like he had a little bit of a hand on him. I saw it on the periphery. I couldn't really get a good shot of it, but again, it's the same old story. You beat yourself.
That's like a turnover. You're about to get the ball back, and now Texas Tech has a 1st down, and the drive stays alive, but they're going to lose a yard here if DeAndre Washington is ruled to have caught that football, and it looks like they'll say incomplete. Either way, it's 2nd down and long.
Somebody needs to light a fire, kick somebody in the rear end, start a fight, or do something for that Oklahoma group. I mean, I agree with what Quint said earlier. They are just kind of going through the motions right now. And when that happens, you have to feel it and take it upon yourself. And you got to pick your game up. And sometimes, you know, you just have to make it personal.
Mahomes throws it away. It'll be 3rd down and 10. And we wondered what the mentality would be for Oklahoma. They're a team that was really everyone's odds-on pick to possibly win the Big 12 and be in the 4-team playoff. And they lost heartbreakers. I mean, heartbreakers against TCU and Kansas State. 2 losses by a total of 5 points. Last week, though, up 14-3, and you lose 48-14 at home to Baylor. Mahomes, long throw, and this one is dropped. Almost an interception for Stephen Parker. It will be 4th down, just inside the 40-yard line. The last time that Texas Tech was in this position, they went for it. Will they go for it again on 4th and 10?
Well, the last time it was 4th and 4. Now it's 4th and long. That should have been a pick.
Their offense is staying on the field. Cliff Kingsbury wants to go for it on 4th down again. And Oklahoma's having a hard time getting the right players on the field defensively. So Bob Stoops calls timeout.
Takes its first time out of the half.
We'll step aside for 30 seconds and come right back to Lubbock. Saturday Night Football on ABC features one of the great rivalry games, and it's so good to see this game with national championship implications again. It's the Noles and the Canes. Saturday Night Football on ABC, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Florida State has won a school an ACC record 25 straight, and yet still they are only less than a field goal favorite tonight against Miami down in South Florida.
That Florida State defense, they better buck it up. Duke Johnson, he's pretty darn good. They are going to run the football at him, much like Mahomes is going to use his feet here to be able to buy some more time.
4th down and 10. And for the 2nd time here in the 1st quarter, Texas Tech going for it on 4th down. Rather than playing field position and trying to pin Oklahoma deep.
Looks like they're going to play a little bit of man under, too deep.
Well, Mahomes better hurry, or else Tech will have to call timeout.
And they did.
And they're just going to let the clock wind all the way down.
They might kick it now. Yeah, they were going to look to see what they were going to give him, and they showed the 2 safeties with your corners up.
Penalties decline. 4th down.
And Quint, you're down there. Interesting decision here as Bob Stoops declines the penalty. How about the wind? How hard is this going to be for Taylor Simak to try and pin this one deep inside the 10?
Wind right now is blowing right to left across your TV screen. The sun could be an issue, though, for the return man. It is a beautiful day here with the blue sky, and the sun is shining bright right now. So the wind, not that much of an issue. The sun for the return man could be troublesome.
And Bob Stoops decides to take the penalty. It was not declined, so they will back them up 5 yards. And Simak gets away a wobbly spiral. And it takes a terrific Texas Tech hop inside the 5. It looks like they will mark it touchdown at the 7. But
nice
special
kick.
teams for Tech does its job with 53 seconds to go in the quarter. So, Matt, now we'll see what kind of a response we'll get from this Oklahoma offense as they are pinned deep at the 7-yard line.
Shoes. For the life of me, I don't get it. Line up and power these guys. Go right at them. This offensive line, except for the center, who's about 290, they're all 330 plus. They're big, athletic. They've got toughness. They have experience against a smaller defensive front. I just pound it on them, and I'd keep on pounding it on them.
Arika Levy at 99 is really the only big body on the interior of that defensive line for Texas Tech. And here's the run game. Keith Ford out to about the 14-yard line for a gain of 7.
Yeah, we talked about these 3 young running backs for this Oklahoma Sooner offense. This one, Keith Ford, he's got good speed and good vision, and it seems like we say that about all of them. But I'll tell you what the 3 of them all have. They all have good toughness. They all run behind their pads. In other words, you'll watch them lower their pads, and they're not afraid to take you gone.
Ford again bounces it left, flag down. a couple of penalty markers thrown.
From the same guy? No, that's oh, okay. One was from the referee and one was from the umpire. It's usually a hold.
Holding. Offense. Number 77. Half the distance to the goal. Second down.
It's one of my favorite names for linemen in all of college football. Deontay Savage.
That's one of those where when you're the parent of Deontay Savage, you basically tell your son, we've given you the name.
Yeah.
The rest is kind of up to you.
Yeah. Live up to the name, my son.
We've done all we can do for you. And that should take us to the end of the quarter. But Oklahoma has made some mistakes, penalties, short-circuiting what would have been a first-round dive, or first-down dive. And we head to the second quarter with Texas Tech up by a touchdown here in Lubbock. A terrific college football atmosphere. And Tech plays a very solid first quarter. Welcome back to Lubbock. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick. And there's crepe paper all over this campus before big home games, courtesy of the Saddle Tramps, the all-male booster organization that basically paints the campus red with crepe paper, and they support all of the Tech athletic programs. And right now they've got a lot to support as the Texas Tech Red Raiders have a 7-0 lead, and Oklahoma starts the second quarter pinned deep. Cody Thomas with a handoff to Alex Ross. He finds room and plenty of it out to the 16-yard line, a yard shy of the first down. So it sets up third down and short.
Choose any time Texas Tech is going to give you two safeties deep. You're going to run at it every time. And when they spin down and they're wide, you're going to continue to do that same thing.
Alex Ross shaken up on that last hit.
Geez, that's the third guy. I was just talking to Quinn in between. There's a couple guys who were banged up.
Well, Oklahoma just got Keith Ford back for the Baylor game. He missed 5 weeks with a broken right leg. Samaje Perine, he can be a workhorse, 243 pounds, but he's only a true freshman. I don't know if you want to have him out there as the sole running back all afternoon. So now it probably would be Ford and Perine that'll have to split things if Ross can't stay in the game. And let's head down to Q. Q, this is not the first injury that could impact this afternoon's game.
No, as Ross gets to his feet and walks off, they were looking at his left knee. Earlier, you remember that incompletion to Blake Bell across the middle. He came up a little gimpy with his left knee. He's back in the ball game right now. Doctors looked at his left knee. Keep in mind that Blake Bell is the backup quarterback today. And then defensively, Geno Grissom, outside linebacker, right knee. Unlikely he will return. You look at both sidelines on Matt. I mean, everybody's wrapped up this time of year. Everybody's got a thumb, an elbow. You got something going on if you're in week 11.
Third down and 1. Handoff to the fullback on a dive, and Ripkowski picks up the first down for OU. Aaron Ripkowski is a former walk-on that won the Derek Shepard Award back in 2012. Oklahoma awards to their top walk-on every year. Of course, Derek Shepard, the father of Sterling Shepard, star wide receiver, who has yet to factor in today's game. They'll keep it on the ground. Perine. No, check that, a play-action fake and a bullet thrown over the middle by Cody Thomas. He finds KJ Young, and that's a big Sooner first down.
Just the fact that you mentioned the run to the inside tells you how good the play-action fake was, which means the inside guys, those linebackers, they bit hard.
Another play-action fake for Cody Thomas. He goes downtown for Deron Neal. Neal wrestles for the football. What a catch by Deron Neal to the Texas Tech 12-yard line.
Devin Madison's actually in pretty good position. This ball is thrown under, and watch him come back and concentrate and make that. That's a phenomenal job of concentration.
Oklahoma goes quickly. Another play-action fake. Sidearm throw by Cody Thomas. pass, and it's a terrible one. Sam Aguavin, the linebacker, there to make the interception. And after a 45-yard bomb and a highlight catch made by Deron Neal, on the next play, Cody Thomas turns it over.
There was pressure on Cody Thomas, and there was a little bit of panic, I think, in him. Coming off the edge, right there. Yeah, that's Keenan Ward. Keenan Ward got the pressure, and there's the difference in the play. He should go back. Guavin should go back and thank Keenan Ward, because that was all on Ward's pressure.
Since it was 14-3 Oklahoma over Baylor, they have been dominated. And back to the offense, Texas Tech. The only win in conference so far this year for Tech was against Kansas. And they were playing so poorly that Tech fans wondered if a win in Lawrence was even possible. Now they've got an Oklahoma team that everyone figured might be the odds-on favorite to win the Big 12. In some trouble here in the first half at home. Rocky start, the first start for Cody Thomas. Patrick Mahomes checks down underneath. Justin Stockton, another true freshman, looks to have a Tech first down out to the 19-yard line.
And we're talking about Mahomes, but I got to tell you, right now, the most impressive group is this offensive line. This offensive line has not given up a lot of sacks, and they get rid of the ball pretty quick. But this group has done a nice job of protecting Mahomes and giving him an area when he does get pressure to step up into. And that has been the difference in this first half. Here comes pressure off the edge. They're loading them down. Let's see if they keep coming.
Mahomes seemed to see it coming. Maybe change the protection, keeps the backs in to help,
Smart.
and gets it away quickly to Bradley Marquez. You're noticing things with this true freshman quarterback. Some composure, some recognition
Poise.
at the line. Well, you don't usually see that out of a young quarterback like this.
That's hard to say. I mean, you can see this guy's been in these situations, but most importantly, he's comfortable with these situations. He's got the guy underneath him dead.
Flea flicker instead, it's Jakeem Grant. Out to the 45-yard line.
Nice delay. That's a nice play call and a nice design. Yeah, normally what you do when you do that flea flicker back, you try to hit the bomb underneath. This time they brought Grant on the crossing route. He was wide open.
Oklahoma, they're going to get caught potentially with too many guys on the field.
Now the officials standing over the ball and allowing them to be able to do the substitutions.
Texas Tech did substitute as well, so OU given a chance to substitute. It's 1st and 10.
Spread out, 5 wides. Normally here you like to bring pressure up inside. See if they do it.
Play clock at 2, and they have to call timeout. That one called by Cliff Kingsbury from the sideline.
Texas Tech.
7-0 Texas Tech has the lead here in the first half.
Reese Davis with you, updating Nebraska-Wisconsin, important game in the Big Ten West. Wisconsin down 17-3. Watch Melvin Gordon here. I mean, what balance. 62 yards. He's got over 100 yards in the first half, but the Cornhuskers with a 17-10 lead on the road. It is on ABC. Elsewhere, Alabama in the top of the 5th with a 5-0 lead against Mississippi State. And look at the other one. Kansas takes a lead to halftime against number 4 TCU.
All right, Reese, thanks very much. I guess it was a Amari Cooper 2-out single in the top of the 5th to give Alabama the lead. 7-0 Texas Tech here. Trying to maintain his composure in the pocket was Patrick Mahomes, as he couldn't find DeAndre Washington on the check down. And while we were away, Mike Stoops, he's trying to fire up the troops because I guess he senses as well, Matt, it's kind of a flat line so far in this game for the Sooners.
Yeah, and the group that he's after right there is that secondary. A week ago, that secondary was, well, atrocious comes to mind. They were just as bad as I've seen in Oklahoma secondary play. He knows it. Let me tell you something. If you have to rely on your coach to get you fired up, you shouldn't be out there.
Mahomes with a long throw to the sideline. Flashes that arm to Devin Lauderdale. about a yard shy of the first down. So it sets up 3rd down and 1.
Hey, this Mahomes, I can't say enough good things about him. This guy, and that's a nice catch by Lauderdale up front. But you want to tighten up your coverage, and you want to be able to be consistent with tight coverage. And Mike Stoops knows it. And so he tried to bake some calls in to get his guys up there, but for whatever reason, they had not been walking up and getting their hands on people.
Quick hitter to the outside, an easy first down. A 3rd down conversion to Dylan Cantrell.
Let me show you something. You're 3rd and 1, and Cliff Kingsbury sees that you're not going to walk up, and you see this. Look at this. Look at this space. Just take it. Go ahead and take it. You just run back underneath. You get Jakeem Grant inside out, and it's a guarantee of 5 yards. Why? You've got to walk up and get your hands on him.
That was Jordan Thomas, the true freshman corner, that gave the cushion to Cantrell. Up the middle and spinning inside the 40 to about the 37-yard line goes DeAndre Washington, and Dulue made the tackle for Oklahoma. Gain of 3 on first down.
If you look at Oklahoma, the way they're built, look at this group. This group, they've got size. This group, the second group, the linebackers, they are small. And the secondary behind them, they're the fast guys. But you know what? This is the first group that I see with Oklahoma who doesn't like to come up and get their hands on people.
Blitz coming. Mahomes lost the football. Can he get back on top of it? It looks like he did. Dominique Alexander came on a blitz, as that time with an empty backfield 5 wide. Mike Stoops came with the pressure.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier when they went empty. Normally when you go empty, you bring an extra guy. And as long as you can occupy the lineman in front of you, that linebacker will come free, and Alexander did a nice job there.
He was the Big 12 Defensive Freshman of the Year last year, only a sophomore. And that's a big negative play that sets up 3rd down and 17. This might be 2-down territory, depending on what Texas Tech gets on this play. They've gone for it twice on 4th down. Mahomes, incomplete, and now they will have to punt. Good coverage by Stephen Parker, true freshman safety. And Stephen Parker, according to Mike Stoops, not only has a chance to be a special player at Oklahoma, but also has a special lineage at Oklahoma. His grandfather, Charles, walked on for Bud Wilkinson in 1955 and ended up being the first African-American to ever earn a scholarship at Oklahoma. And now continuing that tradition in Norman is Stephen Parker. He's a good player.
Yeah, good length, too.
Fair catch at the 20-yard line for Zach Sanchez. We'll step aside. Oklahoma has the ball back, down by a touchdown.
ESPN College Football is brought to you by BMW. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine.
The City of Lubbock's Silent Wings Museum, the only museum in the world dedicated to telling the story of the World War II glider program. And we glide midway through the 2nd quarter and head down to Quint Kesnick on the Oklahoma sideline. And Q, we have not seen Sterling Shepard since the first OU possession.
No, never a good sign when player and helmet aren't together as one. Shepard's helmet is down on the ground by the Gatorade jug, and he is now a spectator on the sideline. No helmet. Looks like he gave it a try after injuring that groin on November 1st and felt it wasn't strong enough to continue playing.
Keith Ford for about 2 yards. Well, it was basically the same story last week against Baylor. He has a groin injury. He tried to give it a go in pregame warm-ups and was shut down for the day last week against Baylor, and at least got into the game on the first OU possession today, but it looks like Sterling Shepard done for the rest of the afternoon. Cody Thomas on 2nd down and 8. Swings one and pulled the string to Keith Ford. Now it's 3rd down and 8.
I'm surprised they haven't run at this with their safety sitting back. I don't understand it. That's your advantage. Use it.
And this gives defensive coordinator Mike Smith the chance to put a completely different personnel group on the field on 3rd and 8.
And a different look and a possibility of pressure. Mike Smith's calling a good game so far.
5-man rush. Cody Thomas throws a bullet outside the numbers, and he's got a first down. That was a really good throw. And that time it looked like the pressure was identified by the offensive line. Micaiah Quick comes up with the catch, and they gave Cody Thomas the time he needed.
Yeah, and the difference, though, the difference in this play, he does have good time to throw. But Micaiah Quick ran an excellent route. And the separation at the top of his route enabled the quarterback to be able to make that throw with very little, with a pretty big window.
It looked like Micaiah Quick had the wind knocked out of him on the reception. So it looks as if now a timeout will be called by Oklahoma, with 7:59 to go before halftime. So we'll step aside as well. OU being shut out so far in the first half by Texas Tech.
Reese Davis with you. Let's update with a showdown in the SEC. Mississippi State, #1 in the country against Alabama. Blake Sims to Amari Cooper in the Crimson Tide with a 12-0 lead about halfway through the second quarter.
Thank you, Reese. And that gives us a chance to take a look at our college football playoff rankings. Brought to you by Vizio. And that might be a pseudo playoff game being played between Mississippi State and Alabama. If Mississippi State can't win on the road in Tuscaloosa, would they drop out of the top 4, and would they have the ability to regain a position in the top 4? That'll be very widely debated. 7-0 Texas Tech, and a little jet sweep to KJ Young. He's down the sideline and hit late out of bounds as well. There's the flag. So a bad play by J.J. Gaines as he hit KJ Young after a big gainer, and that will add 15 more.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense number 3. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
Nice block by Micaiah Quick right there. And then Gaines at the end, he's got to know where he's at. Yeah, that's
right on the sideline, but it draws 15. And that gives Oklahoma a first down. And a handoff to P. Ryan. Caught around the ankles by Pete Robertson.
You know, Pete Robertson's an interesting guy. Pete Robertson, he's got good length. He's not a real big guy, like 235 or so. He can run. This kid has a very good speed, but the thing I like most about him is he's got a good attitude. He's one of those guys who wakes up angry to play, and he plays with a little bit of angst in him.
He's #1 in the Big 12 coming into today in sacks with 9 on the season. But he went from quarterback to safety to linebacker, now a stand-up defensive end. And they run it with P. Ryan. And he runs angry.
That's what I would keep doing.
26-yard line.
P. Ryan's a man. He is 100% USDA man. And he is, you know, he's only 18 years old. But I would just, you know, I know he's a freshman, tough. I'd just keep on feeding him. Freshmen have proved that they can work it for the long haul all game long, and I'd continue to feed him.
3rd down and 5. Tech brings a blitz, and beating it cleanly is Cody Thomas to KJ Young on the slant. 5 third down conversions now for Oklahoma.
Working against Nigel Bethel on the top side. Bethel's trying to take away the inside. See how he flipped his hips there? He's got to close that gap first. Make the offensive guy make his move before you do. It's a matter of patience on the outside, and he busted.
P. Ryan breaking tackles and works hard for about 3 yards to the 15-yard line. Samaje P. Ryan grew up as a big Alabama fan. but showing the maturity, how he really isn't a freshman in the sense of how he approaches things. He chose Oklahoma. Said they running backs. I have a chance to go to OU and play. So it was almost a business decision from Piron's standpoint as to why he went to Oklahoma, and he's had a big impact this year.
He would have played at Alabama also. Maybe not as many carries, but he would have played.
Quarterback draw for Cody Thomas. Gets to the edge. He's got a first down and more at the pylon. Out of bounds at about the 2.
He followed Pirine. Pirine did a nice job, not of getting great contact, but forcing the guy to go back underneath. Right there, he does a good job. He didn't really get a big hit on him. That's Tevin Madison, but he forces Madison to run under the block. And in doing so, he captures the corner.
Surprised they're not looking at that play again, as if Thomas may have snuck the ball inside the pylon. Instead, all it does is delay the inevitable. Samaje Perine with his 12th rushing touchdown of the season. And Oklahoma is a point after away from a tie.
I would ride this guy all day. Pirine is a man. Look at that offensive line. That's, you know, you got Tyrus Thompson out there who's 335 pounds. You got Shed, the guard, who's 340 pounds. You got Darlington inside, who's 290. You got Savage, who's 340, and Williams, who's 330. Let them put their weight on them.
Josh Heupel told us he didn't want to go overboard and make an Adrian Peterson comparison, but he said as a freshman, Perine's right there with AP. We return with our Pacific Life game summary, and the biggest plays, many of them made in this game so far, have been made by freshmen, true freshmen at that.
Yeah, a talented true freshman. You see Patrick Mahomes, the difference in this offense has been his feet and his arm. And then Samaje Perine is everything he's supposed to be. As a power runner, as a blocker, he's got it. And I would continue to ride. Now they're going to have him run down on kickoffs, which I wouldn't do. You talked about Adrian Peterson. They're both talented. Peterson is much faster than Perine.
A line drive kick that takes a charity hop to Grant at the 2-yard line. And he works his way out to the 28-yard line. Another opportunity to head back for an update with Reese.
All right, Bob, get you up to date on Nebraska and Wisconsin. Wisconsin have lost 6 straight games when trailing by 10 points or more, once down by 14 in this game. Corey Clement goes in for the score, and Badgers have tied the game at 17 on ABC. Good one going there.
We've got a good one here in Lubbock, tied at 7 between Oklahoma and Texas Tech. 4.5 minutes to go before halftime. And how important is this possession for Tech?
This is a huge drive for this offense. They've got to get some points before the half to give them a little momentum.
Mahomes
missed it.
He's got man-for-man coverage, throws it up, and gets his wide receiver, Devin Lauderdale, to make a big play. And now they'll wave it off. They'll say incomplete. The ball hit the ground.
That's on Lauderdale. Lauderdale made a nice adjustment in the middle of that. You heard me say he missed it. He went too high, and Lauderdale did a nice job of choking it down right here and coming back to the ball. The difference is he didn't hold it all the way through. See, he has it, he's down, and he loses it right there. Good call by the officials. That could have been the big play that they needed. Instead, it turns out to be just a flub.
Another Oklahoma injury, this one to Charles Tapper. And he needs help getting off the field. Jordan Phillips left in the first quarter, came back on the very next series. So there have been some bumps and bruises to both teams along the way. We've had a few players able to return, but if Charles Tapper can't come back, that is a junior defensive end that was first team all Big 12 last year. They are already without their star wide receiver Sterling Shepard for the rest of the day. So Bob Stoops has some young players out there in some very important positions. And he's in a dogfight here with Texas Tech. 2nd down and 10 for Tech. 5-man rush, quarterback draw. There goes Patrick Mahomes. Slides close to a first down. He'll be a yard shot.
I like this kid. The more I see of him, the more I like him. He has got, well, I would say some Mahonies, but that would be, probably shouldn't say that, so I won't.
Gain of 9 yards on the play, brings up third down and ball from the 30.
This kid's got it, man. You got to love what you're seeing out of this kid.
3rd down and 1. And with the running game, they get the job done. DeAndre Washington picks up the Texas Tech first down.
The ball carrier for Red Raiders, first down.
If you're Texas Tech, what's the hurry? 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. The best case scenario here is to run a 4-minute offense, get some points before halftime, and not allow Oklahoma another chance with the football, knowing you start the 3rd quarter with the ball.
Here comes pressure. See if they pick it up. Ball's
It's an all-out blitz. They certainly do. No one home.
6 quick.
Ian Sadler will walk into the end zone with a Red Raider touchdown.
That is a great job of picking up the pressure, Shoes. Sadler came underneath. They brought everything. You're going to watch Sadler. He's going to come this way. They're going to bring a bunch of people up inside. It gets picked up. You know, you don't have to get everybody, just the closest ones. And then Sadler just, no, they just dropped coverage. They dropped coverage. And heck, if he might still be running if there wasn't a goal line.
If you bring a 0 blitz with 7 guys after the quarterback, doesn't that become straight man-to-man?
Yeah, it is.
In your secondary?
They dropped the coverage, and we'll show you who did it.
It looked like it might have been the true freshman safety, Stephen Parker, that jumped up on a double team and left the middle of the field wide open. And Ian Sadler will never score an easier touchdown than that one. While we were away, Texas Tech was able to convert on the point after. 14-7, they've got the lead. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick here in Lubbock. And let's go back to the blown coverage for Oklahoma on the touchdown.
Yeah, Parker's 11. Ahmad Thomas is 13. Here and here. This is going to be your guy going across. Someone right here dropped coverage right there. One of those two.
That's pretty simple, right? You're bringing a 0 blitz. It's 4 players defensively on 4 receivers. And a good job by Patrick Mahomes, the true freshman quarterback, to maintain his composure in the face of an all-out blitz. And now a pooch kickoff that results in a fair catch at the 26-yard line made by Connor Knight. And let's head back to Reese.
All right, Bob, coming up on the Lexus halftime report, is this bizarro day in the Big 12? Kansas has TCU doubled up right now. Alabama and Mississippi State. The Tide's gotten off to a quick start there, and J.T. Barrett had a tremendous day, and Ohio State needed every bit of it to hold off Minnesota. We'll see you in just a little bit. I think Lou and Mark are mesmerized by the bizarro Big 12.
Will you get out of the way so I can see the game?
We've got a bit of that bizarro Big 12 going on right here. Who would have seen Texas Tech as a 2-touchdown underdog at home? All but at times here in the first half, Matt, dominate against Oklahoma.
Yeah, they've answered the bell, and they're gaining confidence. That last one, I'll tell you, that was an outstanding job of picking things up, and DeAndre Washington did a great job of picking up the free blitzer on the outside and allowed that 6 quick.
Cody Thomas with a handoff to Keith Ford. And he gets stood up at about the 30-yard line. And Monday night, Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers offense looking to rebound on the road against the Titans after the Steelers lost in New York to the Jets last week. Monday Night Football on ESPN, 8:15 Eastern. No other night is Monday night. That game also available live on Watch ESPN. I might add, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, that the Steelers lost to the Jets.
I heard you say
week.
that. That's interesting.
Did I mention that?
Yeah, you did. And every time I watch Ben Roethlisberger, it reminds me of Jameis Winston, or vice versa.
2nd down and 6. A fumbled snap. It's loose and a charity hop right into the arms of Ford. So Oklahoma loses about 3 yards, but they avoid disaster on the fumbled shotgun snap.
Another opportunity presents itself for Texas Tech. This one, just they don't find the handle, but Ford does a great job of making sure he does get the handle. Okay, so now it's 3rd down. Get off the field. All they have to do is prevent the first, get off the field, and you have more than enough time to try to get another score.
It looks like Texas Tech might dial up pressure, and that gets Cody Thomas to look over to the sideline.
Okay, so for Oklahoma, good protection here, and then Thomas has to have some poise, see if he can make the throw.
Has to call timeout instead. And that's the final OU timeout here in the first half.
They don't look, they're out, they're off. They're not the same OU that we've been watching.
Back in 30 seconds. Back in Lubbock, Bob Wischusen alongside Matt Millen. Quinn Kesnick down on the field here at AT&T Jones Stadium. And this crowd has been rocking. They are not taking at all for granted the fact that Texas Tech, with a bleak season so far, has a real chance against Oklahoma today. 3rd down and 10 after the OU timeout. Cody Thomas, the redshirt freshman at quarterback, making his first start, and crowd noise has been a problem. 4-man rush. Thomas up the sideline, and it is intercepted. Picked off at midfield by the true freshman, Tevin Madison.
Madison played that perfectly. They were sitting there in the zone, and he used the sideline as his extra defender. Watch him on the outside. If you want quiet seat, you're going to see him be able to make that throw, but he had his back to the sideline, and you're squeezing the receiver into the sideline. When that ball is thrown, you flip your hips, and that's just really, really well done. Not a great throw. Could have been a better throw had he put it up high over the top. He tried to go for the back shoulder, but Madison beat him to it.
Tevin Madison on the field because Justice Nelson has a head injury, and it looks like he's done for the day. 2nd pick thrown by Cody Thomas, and what a chance for Texas Tech before halftime. Quarterback draw. Patrick Mahomes gets loose. Slides to the 35-yard line.
This kid's not a freshman. He's playing really well. That is great patience, letting things develop, and then use what you got.
Now the officials blow play dead.
Okay, Mahomes needs to get his offense in position. So when they call ready for play, he can get rolling right away.
There's a problem with the play clock. For the remainder of the half, it will be kept on the field. 1st down.
1:34 to go in the first half, and I have to tell you, if Texas Tech runs what their normal offense is, the play clock might be the most irrelevant number in the building.
Good point.
Mahomes with a handoff. Down to the 30-yard line goes DeAndre Washington. Now Texas Tech still has a timeout, and with 1:15 to go in the first half, they're in great position to end the half with points, and they start the 3rd quarter with the ball as well.
Get the first.
4-man rush. Mahomes over the middle, incomplete. So now a chance for the OU defense. This is a huge spot here.
Yes.
You have to think for the Sooners to get a 3rd down stop, as Texas Tech might not yet be in field goal range.
Let's see what Mike Stoops does in terms of his coverage. I would, right here, I would take a little chance right now, and I'm going to lock up my guys in man coverage. And I'm going to get somebody on Mahomes. I'm not going to let him run free. So I would spy him and lock things up on the outside.
And you can see they need about another 5 or 6 yards to be comfortably inside the range of Ryan Buston. Play action up the seam. Marquez, does he have it? He dropped the ball. Mahomes threw it just a little behind Bradley Marquez, but he couldn't hold on. And it looks like they will attempt a field goal.
That is the third drop we've seen here today. They've been plagued by drops all season long. This is well done by Mahomes yet again. Nice job of inside position. And Zach Sanchez is holding the outside, but that ball needed to be caught.
Hey, Q, you're down there. How about the wind on what is a pretty long field goal attempt of 48 yards?
He is kicking into the wind. It's anywhere between 5 and 10 miles an hour right now. Not as bad as it was earlier, but this kick is into the wind, and if he mishits it, the wind will grab it.
Buston from 48. It's got the distance. It hits the upright. His career long is 50. That would have been a season long from 48. But what a dodged bullet for Oklahoma. After the interception at midfield, Texas Tech cannot turn it into points.
Had plenty of leg. He just doinked it off that right upright.
And now no timeouts for Oklahoma, but they get good field position at their own 31-yard line. And they still have 48 seconds with a shaky quarterback. You got a quarterback making his first start. Cody Thomas has thrown 2 interceptions. Knowing that Texas Tech starts the third quarter with the ball, how frisky would you get with your play calling here?
I wouldn't.
If you're Bob Stoops.
No, I wouldn't. I'd just hand this ball off.
See if Josh Heupel gets conservative. Now they'll run a middle screen, and it's incomplete. Micaiah Quick was the intended receiver. Now it's 2nd down and 10.
Get the ball in the hands of P. Ryan. You got 40 seconds.
There goes P. Ryan. He's brought down, and you wonder if Texas Tech might use a timeout. Tech is down to 1 timeout remaining. That would take us to halftime if Texas Tech doesn't use that final timeout. There's no reason for Oklahoma to snap the ball again. And Texas Tech starts the third quarter with the ball, so Cliff Kingsbury probably happy to take a 14-7 lead into the locker room. What does Oklahoma hope to accomplish by snapping the ball here?
I have no idea.
Why would you even put yourself in this position? Thomas high over the middle, and it's intercepted.
To do that.
Blockers out in front. Down the sideline goes Keenan Ward. That takes us to all zeros. But a situation there that can only possibly create harm for Oklahoma, and they still snap the ball.
Yeah, that's just called stupid.
3 interceptions in the first half for Cody Thomas. Well, let's head down to Quinn.
Coach, what has made the difference so far for your defense?
They're getting turnovers. You know, they're playing hard. You got an inexperienced quarterback over there, and they're making it hard on him.
How do you best describe the play of your quarterback, Patrick Mahomes?
Not bad. You know, he's a little antsy, and our receivers got to make plays, but they're fighting hard, and, you know, you win the turnover battle, you got a shot.
Thanks, Coach. Bob, quite an environment down here.
Well, Quip, they're fired up. They've got a 7-point lead at halftime and 3 takeaways. Texas Tech came into today minus 12 in the giveaway takeaway. Only West Virginia in the Big 12 was worse, but they're +3 today and +7 on the scoreboard. Time now for Reese with Mark and Lou. It's the Lexus Halftime Report. Welcome back to ESPN's coverage of college football, presented by Cars.com.
Wake up, there's no one to please. I don't give a damn what the world wanna see. Gotta be good where you at, feel that. Gotta look forward, never back, feel that. Wake up, there's no one to please. I don't give a damn what the world wanna see. Gotta look forward, never back, feel that. Gotta be happy where you at, feel that.
Back in Lubbock, set for the start of the third quarter between Texas Tech and Oklahoma. And a somewhat surprising result, as Texas Tech not only has a 7-point lead. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick here at Jones Stadium. They've also done it really the direct opposite of the way their season has gone. They've gotten takeaways. Normally Tech turns it over. They haven't made big mistakes. Normally they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. Not today so far.
No, not so far. And there's a couple of things that popped up on him. But the biggest thing was Patrick Mahomes has been just out off the charts. And he has done everything you've wanted him to do and then more. And with each piece of success, he gains more confidence. And where you really saw it was in his ability to move. At the end of as that game went on, into the half, they start to run the football a little bit more. He was more accurate. The ball's coming out to the right receiver. I mean, some of these things, he just looks like he's been doing it all season long. So you can't say enough about Patrick Mahomes right now.
Cody Thomas, on the other hand, really struggling with 3 first-half interceptions.
Yeah, and it's kind of almost the opposite. And with each miscue, you see a little bit tighter, and then a little bit of pressure, and then he starts to feel the pressure, and then pretty soon he's doing stuff like this, and it's the end of the half, and he comes out with 3 interceptions. Now, he's going to have to get this thing straightened out. And the way to do it, and I'm going to repeat myself yet again, they've got to continue to run the football. They can't get away from the run game. They've been scared off it, and I don't understand why. Pound the ball, they'll win the game.
Both of these players are freshmen, both obviously inexperienced, both baseball players for their respective schools as well. But that's where the comparisons end in the first half. Patrick Mahomes looks like a starter, looks as if he has been through the wars before. And it will be Texas Tech to start the third quarter with the ball, as Cody Thomas with 3 first-half interceptions. 1 down in the red zone, costing his team mightily. And speaking of a game plan discussion, that's what Quint Kesnick had with Bob Stoops just a moment ago. Q.
Yeah, he said a key to a turnaround in this game begins with their ability to run the football. And that makes sense. No Trevor Knight, no Sterling Shepard. What stands out to me, though, Bob, and we documented this early in the first quarter, how flat, how unemotional this Oklahoma Sooner team is. They've been looking for a spark. They've found none. Something must change from an emotional standpoint if Oklahoma is going to come back in this ballgame.
Well, they're only down by a touchdown, so
hand the ball to him.
It's almost as if we're making it seem like they're down by 3 scores. To the ground goes Tech to start the second half. And DeAndre Washington pounds out across the 30 to about the 32-yard line for a gain of 7.
So, Shoes, lost in all this right now. This is an important series for Texas Tech. If they can come out and get some points here,
they might get some on this play. DeAndre Washington brought down in the open field by Quentin Hayes, but that's 2 quick carries, and Texas Tech back in OU territory.
This is the best they've looked all season long. They've been consistent through the half, and they're starting this third quarter. Usually, the first series of the third quarter sets the tone.
Washington for 2 yards.
I really like the game that's being called by Texas Tech. Eric Morris is their offensive coordinator, but Cliff Kingsbury, the guy who gives the okay to everything. And ultimately, I think it's Kingsbury who's putting the stamp on it. He's been keeping this OU offense off guard, and really he's been relying on Mahomes' feet, and that's been valuable for them.
Oklahoma comes with a blitz. Mahomes incomplete, and he paid the price as Ndulue buried him. The pass intended for Sadler fell short. Chuka Ndulue was born in Nigeria. When he was in 7th grade, his mom moved the family to Texas. He was a soccer player, but as a freshman decided JV football, that was a good way to go. And here he is at Oklahoma, maybe headed to the NFL.
He loves when nobody blocks him.
Mahomes looking for the home run ball. Lauderdale is there. 2 OU defenders run into each other, and that allows Devin Lauderdale to run into the end zone.
Again, just creating with his feet. And then the unfortunate at the back, you got Ahmad Thomas running into Jordan Thomas. It was a Thomas affair. Didn't do him any good.
The worst kind for Oklahoma. You mentioned in the first half, Mike Stoops reading the riot act to that OU secondary. This is not one that's going to be any fun to watch on film tomorrow.
Unless you're for Texas Tech, you're going to love what Mahomes is doing. I want to show you something what happens. This is a scramble throw, really a broken throw. And what happens is each respective receiver has something to do. The guy who's gone deep, he comes back short. The guy who's short, he goes deep. And all you're doing is putting pressure, and you're giving your quarterback the option. So here they are. You're deep. He's going to come back to the ball. He feels the quarterback coming outside. He goes deep. He already beats this, Thomas. You just now have to beat the safety, and the throw by Mahomes puts him right there, and it is just beautiful.
So Texas Tech now has a 2-touchdown lead, and college football continues tonight. College football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels. Number 9 Auburn, number 15 Georgia. Todd Gurley is back. A big SEC East race game tonight, 7:15 Eastern. Also available live on Watch ESPN.
Now, you're down by 14, you're Oklahoma. You still can be patient with your run game. Don't get off the run game. Continue to pound it. Exert your will. Let those big guys up front start taking over. Make Texas Tech have to commit some people to the ball.
Well, you say don't get off your run game.
Yeah.
When have they really ever been on their run game today?
Nice point by you, Mr. Shoes.
Thank you. Cody Thomas with an end around to KJ Young. And Young very close to a first down. A gain of 9. It'll be 2nd down and 1, bumped out by Keenan Ward.
Okay, so Mike Smith, the defensive coordinator for Texas Tech, here's what he's doing up front. He's moving his guys. He knows he doesn't have a size advantage. He's at a disadvantage. So he's starting to slant and move them around. If I'm Oklahoma, look, that's a run, but that's not the type of run that you want to do. You want to just pound on them. And that will be an accumulative effect as the game goes on. This is what you want to do right here.
Spinning and getting drilled is Keith Ford. He's short of the first down.
Yeah, I guess he is. He actually spun for it, but they stopped him. They gave him his whatchamacallit? Forward progress. He stopped him right there, but actually
he's a yard shy.
Yeah.
They blew the play dead at the 34-yard line. So now it's 3rd down and 1. Samaje Perine back in the game as the tailback. Play clock winding down. Handoff instead of the fullback, and submarining is Aaron Ripkowski for the first down.
It may not be pretty, but it'll be effective. And then once you start establishing and getting them to really commit, then you can start to dump it off.
Well, you're going to get 12 to 14 possessions in your average game, which
Correct.
means Oklahoma will probably have the ball 6 to 7 times in the second half, and they're only down by 2 scores.
Well, they're good.
There's no reason to not run the ball. And there goes Perine. Busting free. Think the run game's working now? Samaje Perine takes it the distance. And Oklahoma, just like that, is back within a score.
I hate to tell you, but I'm going to tell you.
You love to tell us.
Good point. Good point by you, my shoes. Yeah, let those big guys start mauling people up front. It's a small defensive front. Perine, while he doesn't have great speed, has really good speed, and he's a powerful man. Let him wear you out.
For a 243-pound back, I would call that great speed. 64-yard run. And that just about doubles up what was his longest run of the season. Samaje Perine, a true freshman from Texas. Played his football up the road in Oklahoma. He's back home now, and he pulls OU within a score. Celebrating its 10th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. Since 2005, Allstate has contributed more than $3.7 million in scholarship funds.
Shoes, that was a nice job by that left side of that offensive line for Oklahoma. And it was what they do well. And then P. Ryan was able, he's got to beat one guy. And he was able to beat the one guy, and it was out the gate.
That's Matt Millen. I'm Bob Wischusen. Down on the field, Quint Kesnick, and the ball about to come out to the 25-yard line for Texas Tech in what is now a quiet building because of what just happened.
Here's Savage. He's going to come around. Here's Ripkowski, 48. He's going to get the big block down the field. Now, I want you to watch Thompson inside, Shed inside, and right there, that's a nice job by the tight end, the bulldozer, the Belldozer. Nice job by Bell. Here, look, Savage right there. There's the guy he had to make miss. It was the corner. And P. Ryan ran right through that corner's tackle, and then the rest of it is all on that offensive line and the fullback Ripkowski. Well blocked.
Patrick Mahomes smoothly outside again. First down to Devin Lauderdale.
Well, they like something over there with Jordan Thomas. Just a freshman, number 7. They're going to make sure that he's not going to forget this day. They've been picking on him since he's been in the game, which is from the start. Snap it.
12 men on the field for Oklahoma.
They didn't throw the flag.
Under pressure is Mahomes. Just about lost the football.
He wasn't off the field and they didn't throw the flag.
And the Oklahoma coaching staff is livid at the personnel switch that almost got them caught. Devontae Bond was running off the field full steam, and in spite of the flag not coming out, Mike Stoops lost his mind. He was still on the field.
He was still on the field. That was 12 men. That's on the officials.
It was hard to hear the referee's microphone, but they are obviously going to the replay booth.
Well, he didn't get off the field when that ball was snapped. Yeah, you can see the movement. We don't quite have the sideline when he snaps this ball. I mean, yeah, when he snaps the ball. Ball snapped there. He's not off.
Charles Tapper got the sack, but that might get wiped away after the video review. Our referee is Mike DeFee.
Now watch the movement right there. He's not off. The ball's there. That is clearly 12 men.
Well, Mike DeFee's referee microphone right now is not working. He did drop the flag out. He's going to get an assist.
Putting an ever ready in.
After further review, there were 12 men on the field at the snap. It's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. That penalty being enforced. Second down.
So, Matt, that's the replay booth buzzing down and cleaning up the mistake that the officials made by not throwing the flag.
That's a very good job of officiating, and that's a great job of upstairs working with downstairs.
And if Mike Stoops gets anywhere near, which he is, Devontae Bond, that might buy Devontae Bond a whole new lecture. He probably thought he was done the first time around.
Oh,
but he's getting a little more now.
The previous spot was the 38-yard line. It'll be a 5-yard penalty, and it'll be second down.
And to make matters worse, you may have noticed Texas Tech substituted. The umpire was standing over the ball, allowing Oklahoma to substitute. So they had 12 men on the field, not in a position where Texas Tech was going fast with their base 11.
That should be 1st and 5, not 2nd and 5.
And now they're fixing the down, so it is 1st and 5. So that was a 12th man on the field in a position where the umpire was even standing over the ball, giving Oklahoma time to substitute, which made, I'm sure, Mike Stoops that angrier.
Oh, he looked happy to me.
DeAndre Washington empties the backfield. Pitch and catch to the sideline. The catch not made, though, by Dylan Cantrell. And now it's 2nd down and 5.
You know, this team all season long has had a problem with drops. And, you know, I talked to Coach Cliff Kingsbury yesterday, and what he was saying, they think that he's averaging about 5 a game. We officially have him at like 2.9 or something like that, but clearly they have dropped a lot of passes.
Up the middle goes Washington, and the Sooners meet him at the 45-yard line. So now it brings up 3rd down and 3.
All right, big down here for Oklahoma. You need to get the ball back. They have a little bit of momentum because they've just scored. Now you've got to tighten your coverage. Tighten them up. 3rd and 4. Don't back off. If you do walk up, get your hands on the guys. Get your hand on the receiver. Especially in college football, they let you get away with quite a bit.
How much of a cushion at the bottom of your screen do you see Jordan Thomas giving the receiver? That's where Mahomes wanted to go at first. Instead, he comes over the middle, and Marquez makes a catch, takes a big hit, holds onto the football, and that's a Red Raider touchdown.
That's really well done. So what they're doing is they're baiting you underneath. They want you to jump up, and they do. And then here comes Marquez behind you, and the ball is right where it had to be. Good design, good execution, 1st down.
Texas Tech is now 7 for 11.
See, the problem with the official standing over the ball, if you take your time running off, they run the clock down, which doesn't allow you to be able to run all of your offense at the line of scrimmage.
There comes the blitz. Mahomes with a screen behind it, and that's a terrible throw. Looking for Cameron Batson. It will be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, it's a bad throw, but also a good throw. It was a bad throw because he didn't have the completion, but it's a good throw because he got himself out of trouble, and he just went ahead and lived for another down, and therefore that's a good play. So bad throw, good play.
That was a bad throw.
I mean, bad throw, good play.
Right.
Yeah.
2nd down and 10. Play action. Mahomes has all day. Up the seam, almost a one-handed catch, as Batson was the intended receiver again. Now it brings up 3rd down and 10.
So Mahomes here in the last, these last couple throws, he tried to push it down the field a little bit. Normally, they're within a box. You know, they like to play within a 15-yard box. Mahomes feeling a little bit good about his protection. Here he's going to have to get at least 10, obviously.
Mahomes scrambling. Flag down. And he'll throw one to a wide-open receiver in the end zone. Bradley Marquez has a touchdown, but this will most likely be coming back.
That's coming back on the hold. Yeah, Tapper got held, number 91.
Now it's holding against Texas Tech. It obviously is going to come back. But that's another spot in the secondary where if you're Mike Stoops and Bob Stoops, I mean, how could you possibly have a coverage blown to that extent? Bradley Marquez was by himself at the goal line by 30 yards.
Offense, number 62, 10-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
That's LaRaven Clark, 62, right here. Pretty good player. And you're watching Tapper right here, 91. So he gets up, and all he does is, a little bit of acting there, but.
Well, here goes Marquez, and they just let him go.
He dropped him. They thought there was going to be a sack, and it didn't happen.
It's not like the secondary knew a holding flag was thrown. 3rd and 20, and they'll run a draw and try and get themselves maybe into a manageable 4th down. Justin Stockton is bumped out of bounds hard, and this time the sideline of Texas Tech is looking for a flag, but no flag is thrown, and now it's 4th down and 11 at the 40-yard line.
Well, Lauderdale was blocking Thomas, and Thomas kept on going. Good non-call.
And they're going for it. And this is what Cliff Kingsbury has done all game long. Anywhere in plus territory where they're not clearly in field goal range, no matter how long 4th down has been, he's gone for it. And they're lining up to go forward on 4th and 11 unless they take the delay of game. And it looks like that's what they will do to back up the punt unit and give them a little bit more room.
Delay of game. Offense.
Lost in all that. That was a heck of a throw by Mahomes as he's rolling to his left, throwing back to his right. This kid's had a phenomenal game so far.
That has to be another moment, though, as we talked about, for Bob Stoops and Mike Stoops. Could you have a coaching staff right now that has less confidence in a secondary than they probably have in the way this secondary is playing?
Which really, you know, Oklahoma usually has a really good secondary. And these are basic things. They're just, eye discipline has been awful.
Fair catch made by Zach Sanchez at the 13-yard line. Oklahoma has the football back, down by 7. Welcome back, where a difficult afternoon continues for Mike Stoops, defensive coordinator for Oklahoma. Bob Wischusen and Matt Millen upstairs. Down behind the Oklahoma bench is Quint Kesnick. And for a moment, let's take a look, Matt, at what just happened in spite of the holding penalty. Another blown coverage that would be called back on the flag. But, I mean, how open is Bradley Marquez?
Oh, there's your culprit right there. The safety left. Did you see? He left the middle of the field. The corner dropped him. He turned it to the safety. I couldn't see the number there.
First down, it's Alex Ross. He picks up 3. And Q, you were down there watching Mike Stoops, again, having a word with his secondary about the blown coverage that we just saw.
It's been in every possession thing. It's been in every possession thing. You know, Sanchez, the corner, he was fuming. He was ticked off. He gets the call from the sideline, but the communication wasn't there. He passes his guys on, and I heard Coach Stoops yelling to Parker, stay with the post. Stay with the post.
Yeah, you could see it in the middle. See, Sanchez had to stay outside because he has another receiver. So he sinks. And then the safety has to stay in the middle of the field, but when he saw him starting to run and the receiver underneath, he bit on it, and that allowed him to come clean.
Deron Neal brought down at the 20-yard line, brings up 3rd down and 3 for a struggling Sooner offense. And it's Samaje Perine back in a tailback. They'll try and run forward with Perine.
Oh, nice hit.
Breaks a tackle. Boy, what a terrific hit at the line of scrimmage, but that can't bring down the true freshman.
Samaje Perine, he just runs right through this tackle. There's a heck of a hit right there. It's a nice collision, but he just keeps on going. It didn't make a bit of difference. And that was a Guab in 13. The backer, Perine, he disregarded it like, mere flesh wound.
11 carries, 104 yards, and a couple of touchdowns for the true freshman. Why would you give the ball to anyone else? There he goes again. Another first down for Oklahoma. Unless they mark him down just shy of the 39, it looks like they will. So it's 2nd down and a foot.
If I'm Josh Heupel, the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma, I know I'm going to be a broken record. Keep feeding the man. Let him just keep on running. You'll wear this group out.
Josh Heupel told us, I'm not trying to say that Samaje Perine is going to be Adrian Peterson, but from a physical standpoint, he is Adrian Peterson as a freshman. If you compare the two when they were both freshmen, he's that good. There he goes again. No, the keeper, it's Cody Thomas. The entire Texas Tech defense was sure that Perine was going to get the football. And Cody Thomas out the gate for a big gainer all the way down to the Tech 27.
This plays on Perine. Watch the respect he garners from all these defenders. And Thomas just takes advantage of it. Go ahead and bite. I mean, I'm talking everybody.
Timeout called by Texas Tech from the sideline. We'll step aside for 30 seconds and come right back to Lubbock. Samaje Perine in the second half, Matt Millen, has been what you were basically saying he should have been from the first drive of the game.
Yeah, well, you know, what they finally figured out was just hand him the ball, because he's a big man, he's a powerful man, he's got great balance, he's got vision, he's got the whole package. He's 18 years old, he's going to do nothing but get better. Continue to feed him. This is an important series right here for both these teams, because if they take it in and score, they'll have the upper hand.
Piran up the middle, bouncing off tacklers, and there he goes again. At the pylon, he's bumped out just shy of the goal line. The first guy can't bring him down, and normally the second guy can't either.
And when you commit like you are to this run game and everybody to the ball, once he starts inside and makes that bounce, he's fast enough to outrun. He doesn't have phenomenal speed, but he's fast enough to be able to get the edge. This kid, he's exactly what we thought he was when we watched the tape. He's got it.
Samaje Piran cut down behind the line. Much better job that time penetrating up front. The Texas Tech defense, J.J. Gaines was able to knife down around the ankles of Piran. Second down and goal at the 2.
Which tells you that they brought the corner on a blitz. They brought him to the outside. Piran got a little hitch in his giddy up right there as he's going off the field.
So now it's Alex Ross in at tailback. High formation with Ripkowski at fullback. Flags down. False start.
False start. Offense. Number 48. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Now it's second and goal at the 9. And how much does this change the type of play calling, you know, Oklahoma, you'd have to think, would want to go with inside the 10-yard line? So back him up, pardon me, to the 7. Second and goal. They played power football with Piran to get them down to the 1-yard line. But now a negative play on first down and a penalty, and Piran on the sideline getting his ankle looked at. Keith Ford now in the game at tailback. Play clock to 2. Cody Thomas gives it to Ford. At about the 3-yard line, he's brought down, and that brings up third down and goal.
All right, this offensive line, both guards, both tackles have the big size, and they can get a good push. The one spot they don't get a good push is inside with Darlington, their center. And that's the spot that Texas Tech has been able to go ahead and create a point. Darlington's going to have to lower his pad level and get a big push if they're going to run inside, because he's not been getting any movement.
Play action. Cody Thomas back in the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown by Deron Neal.
That's a good play call. Josh Heupels, that's a good call. Nice play action. That's when you're down that tight, it is so difficult in that fine line between committing to the run, which you have to respect, and staying back.
Well, there's the hero on the sideline. He didn't get to finish the drive off, Samaje Piran, but he got them down inside the 5-yard line, and even after the penalty, Oklahoma with Cody Thomas, his first touchdown pass. Samaje Piran set it up. He's got 138 yards rushing to go along with 2 touchdowns. And then Cody Thomas shakes off the 3 interceptions and ties the game with a strike to Neal.
Reese Davis with you. This is the Goodyear Superior performance. I emphasize superior. Melvin Gordon is making a run at the Heisman and anything else you want. He has 369 yards rushing. They're still in the 3rd quarter against Nebraska. Remember, the FBS record, LaDainian Tomlinson at 406, well within striking distance. Wisconsin up 38-17 on Nebraska.
Well, Reese, we've got a heck of a game going here in Lubbock. Adam Shedd, pardon me, the left guard being walked off the field slowly as he was shaken up on the point after attempt. But with 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, Oklahoma has come from 2 touchdowns down to tie the game at 21. And they have a heck of a running back in the true freshman Samaje Perine.
Physically gifted, mentally mature, loves to compete. He's got all the requisite skills. Just a freshman. They'll have him for 2 more years.
That's Matt Millen. I'm Bob Wischusen. Quint Kesnick down on the field. And now we'll see if Texas Tech can respond. For the first time in a long time, they've got a square scoreboard. And taking a knee will be Jakeem Grant. College football continues tonight at 7:15 Eastern. It's college football primetime presented by Hampton Hotels on ESPN. Number 9 Auburn. The return of Todd Gurley against number 15 Georgia. That game also available live on Watch ESPN. Georgia can clinch the SEC East with a win over Auburn, and a Missouri loss to Texas A&M tonight. They've only turned it over, the Bulldogs, 6 times this season, and they get Todd Gurley back.
Actually, that's a pretty fair comparison. He and Gurley, when they were freshmen, Perine, and they're very similar.
Play action, Patrick Mahomes over the middle and in stride. It's got Ian Sadler. That's a first down.
Mahomes is not impressed with what Oklahoma's done. He is not shy of the big light. This kid, I've watched him on tape. This is the best I've seen him play. But what I really like is the confidence that he has now. I mean, it's just grown. His light is shining bright right now.
Training staff looking at the right arm, maybe the right elbow of Ian Sadler. Play action, a little flip to the outside. Devin Lauderdale makes a move and maybe picks up 3 or 4 extra yards. As a result, it's a gain of 7 on first down.
This is the best I've seen this receiving core play also. They've had a couple drops, but for the most part, they've made some critical catches.
Patrick Mahomes now over 300 yards passing to go along with 3 touchdowns. There's room to run for Justin Stockton. First down and more. And a big hit out of bounds that will cost the Sooners an extra 15.
That was just flat dumb.
Zach Sanchez, way out of bounds, rode down Justin Stockton.
After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Defense number 15. 15-yard penalty will be added to the dead ball spot. First down.
And Matt, it's another gaffe by the secondary for Oklahoma.
Yeah, they did not pick a good day. He knows better than, I mean,
he's 8 yards out of bounds when he shoves him down. So boy, 3 snaps and Texas Tech on the verge of getting back in the red zone. Mahomes with a ball fake and a good job to dirt the ball as he throws it intentionally towards the ankles of DeAndre Washington.
Empty, blitz it.
0 coverage, and they beat the blitz. Look at the effort by Jakeem Grant.
It went the wrong way.
Cost himself some yards.
Yeah.
Forward progress to about the 15. They might actually put the ball inside the 15-yard line.
Yeah, they did. That was generous because he did break that and was continuing his run. But nice job by Mahomes to recognize, yo, you're empty, you're going to get pressure, you got to go to your hot, and he does it right away. Lauderdale did a nice job of sitting down and sets up this down right here.
3rd down and 3. And again trying to hustle off the field is Devontae Bond and barely makes it.
That wasn't Bond's fault, however. That was from the sideline. They changed their mind midstream.
Oklahoma shows blitz. It's Kenny Williams in to the right of Mahomes in the shotgun.
Go to the slot. He's open.
Here come the Sooners. Diving catch made right about the 10-yard line. And they will say it is a good catch. That'll be a first down. Cameron Batson was able to haul it in.
Yeah, they went to the slot like they should. They're sitting off and they're...
Kenny Williams driven back. Terrific play. Knifing through was Jordan Evans.
Yeah, Jordan Evans saw it from the inside backer. He just ran the lane as soon as he saw it. Almost looks like, no, it wasn't a blitz. It opened up. And it was because of Ndoulié, who pushed it wide, it created the seam, and Evans took it.
Looks like Patrick Mahomes will let the quarter clock wind down.
This is a great drive by Texas Tech. They needed to answer that last score and pull a little bit of that momentum back, and they're about to do that.
A negative play, though, on first down sets up second down and 13. So Texas Tech is behind the chains to start the fourth quarter, but they're in the red zone. Back and forth we go. A terrific tussle between the Sooners and the Red Raiders headed to the fourth. Bob Wischusen, Matt Millen, Quinn Kesnick, and the rest of our crew here in Lubbock, starting the fourth quarter with Texas Tech in position to retake the lead. Patrick Mahomes has spread things around at times, but he's really picked on the left-hand side. And the true freshman Jordan Thomas, he's got 319 yards and 3 touchdowns, all 3 touchdowns thrown to the left side of the field.
Well, Jordan Thomas is just a freshman. Keep in mind, he's starting today because they benched Julian Wilson. He's in a tough position. They know he's out there continuing to test him. And he's weathered the storm. He needs to continue it.
Quarterback draw. Mahomes inside the 10 to the 9. So that brings up third down and about 9, right at the 10. Texas Tech can get a first down if they get a really friendly spot inside the 1. But for all intent and purposes, this is third down and goal.
7 out of 10 every single time they've gotten it. It's been for a first, obviously.
Blitz coming. Mahomes to the back pylon. Incomplete. Intended for Jakeem Grant.
Had the right idea, just too much on it. He needed to throw to the back pylon like you mentioned. Grant's the inside receiver. He's going to try to get that guy on his inside shoulder. Now you throw it to the top. He just missed it.
Jakeem Grant's only 5'6". That's a really tough player to try and hoist it over coverage into that back corner. So it will be Ryan Buston to try and give Texas Tech the lead back. And he hooks it inside the upright from 27 yards out, but it's still a red zone stop for the Oklahoma defense. Tech has the lead back. We return with our Aflac trivia question. Aflac. 35-year-old Cliff Kingsbury is still the third youngest head coach in FBS. Can you name the other 2 head coaches that are younger? He's got a wealth of experience in close games, though, now. As last year, he led Texas Tech in his first season replacing Tommy Tuberville to an 8-5 record. And a short kickoff comes down to Ross at about the 25-yard line. So good field position for Oklahoma, down by 3 out to their own 36-yard line. And later on tonight, Saturday Night Football on ABC, it's an ACC showdown. Jameis Winston, undefeated #3 Florida State. They head down to Miami to take on the Hurricanes. Saturday Night Football on ABC, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. They're ringing the bell, trying to get the crowd back into it here in Lubbock, as the defense is now put in a position where Oklahoma with a touchdown would take the lead. Quarterback keeper for Cody Thomas. He's got room. In the The third quarter alone, Oklahoma ran for 160 yards on only 11 carries. So they are starting to take the game over on the ground.
Cody Thomas just smartly keeps it. They're gonna jump outside for the back. You just take it back up inside.
Well, it takes all the pressure off the quarterback as well when you run like this. Here's Keith Ford. Cuts it back and picks up 5.
That's the advantage of having that big physical offensive line. As this game wears on, it's a fight inside.
And there's Samaje Perine coming back in.
And then you add the hammer behind that big line, and Perine becomes a really big weapon.
He goes up the middle. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Let's go down to Quinn.
Perine back in the ball game after having his left ankle looked at and then retaped. And one thing that stood out, Bob, from field level in that third quarter, yards after carry for this young freshman, bouncing off of tackles, tired tacklers for Texas Tech.
That's an amazing number. 120 of his 141 yards after contact.
Yeah, that doesn't say much. That means you have only 20-some yards from your offensive line, and then you're just mauling it. Hey, all that having been said, this is a big right here if Texas Tech can stop them.
Play action. Cody Thomas rolls right. No one's home again. They sell out to stop Perine, and an easy bootleg conversion on 3rd down for Cody Thomas.
That's a nice call by Josh Heupels. He's taking advantage of everything, and Perine is garnering all the respect, and he does a nice job of clamping down on that fake. Thomas is able to take advantage of it.
77 yards rushing now for Cody Thomas on only 4 carries. The last 2 have been bootlegs where Texas Tech has sold out to stop Perine. And now you go back to the workhorse. To the 20-yard line for a gain of close to 7 on 1st down.
And we got a guy down from Tech. He tried to go down low on Perine, and he's still down there.
J.J. Gaines, the strong safety, and the 3rd leading tackler coming into today for Texas Tech. You talk about youth in the secondary. Nigel Bethel, Tevin Madison, those right now are your top 2 corners for Texas Tech. They're both true freshmen. Your next guy up, most likely at safety, will be Jalen Barnes. He's also a true freshman.
They're checking his shoulder.
Now, Cody Thomas, I'm sure the last thing that Bob Stoops wants to do with his 3 interceptions and as shaky as he's been at times is to put the ball in the air, especially with the effective way that they're running it right now. But Matt, having said that, if you've got 3 true freshmen in the Texas Tech secondary, it might be hard to resist the temptation at some point to try and take a shot at that kind of youth and inexperience.
Absolutely, but go with what's winning for you. Be patient, run the football. You see what Perine's doing for you, not only in the yards he's gaining after contact, but when they do fake him, fake the ball to him, there's no one out there. They have everybody streaming to Perine.
Well, they haven't lost in their last 37 games when they've cracked 200 yards rushing, and they're on their way to 300 today. And without J.J. Gaines, they're just now helping him up. That's a loss in a big way in the secondary for Texas Tech. So it's good to see Gaines able to walk off on his own.
Yeah, that's a shoulder injury. Saw the doctors there. They were filling up inside the pad.
That's probably not the last time someone will injure a shoulder trying to tackle Samaje Perine.
That's a good point by you.
2nd down and 4. Goes again, runs through another couple of tackles. He is something else. Looks like Earl Campbell. 1st and goal at the 3.
He is the real deal. And that is great. Now, those were some big hits he took, but they didn't wrap their arms. And then I want you to watch his balance. There's the first hit. Nice lower pad. There's the great balance. Didn't wrap his arms. And then to come back up inside, that's... Let's listen to these hits. I couldn't hear it from here. I hope it did at home. But that's just great balance. That's called running behind your pads. It's good level, pad level.
Samaje Perine this time sandwiched at about the 4-yard line. 2nd down and goal.
Yeah, and so when you're coming up from the secondary and you're on Perine one-on-one, you've got to go low on him. You've got to be able to take out his legs.
That's Tevin Madison, true freshman corner.
He did it just in that last play.
So he's down and hurt. So during the injury timeout, let's go back to the studio and check in with Reese.
Bob, the greatest rushing day in FBS history. Melvin Gordon with this touchdown run would go for 408 yards against Nebraska. He did it before jump around. FBS single game rushing record, breaking LaDainian Tomlinson's mark. And by the way, as you look at the top performances in FBS history, consider Nebraska was up in that game 17-3 and Wisconsin has scored 49 in a row. So Melvin Gordon has the record. He gets his 408, by the way, on 25 carries. Took LaDainian Tomlinson 43.
That's incredible.
Wow.
That's embarrassing. Really, if you're Nebraska, to be up in that game and to allow, I don't care if it's Herschel Walker, Jim Brown, and Earl Campbell all rolled into one. If you get run on for 400 yards by one guy, that's embarrassing.
I can't even think of the word. It's past embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm looking at you like
on the other
it's your
side,
fault.
Yeah, on the other hand, Melvin Gordon, congratulations. That's a phenomenal feat.
Now, how about how things change now? You've got Darrell Williams, who also was injured on that last play. So the big right tackle on the bench for Oklahoma. 2nd down and goal. A keeper again for Cody Thomas. He's in for the touchdown. You know why? They all thought Samaje Perine was going to get the football.
And this time it's to the same side, which really tells you how much respect they have for Perine running that football. He just pulls it out. To that side. Let them all, look, they're all inside.
You've got 11 pairs of eyes wearing red and black, all looking at one guy.
Absolutely.
Samaje Perine right now is getting as many chest bumps on the sideline as Cody Thomas, who scored the touchdown. Because everyone on that OU sideline knows not only does he impact the play when he has the ball, he impacts the play when he doesn't have the ball.
That's the sign of a great player, and he's that.
They've got something special in true freshman running back Samaje Perine in Norman. Cody Thomas gives the Sooners the lead.
ESPN College Football is presented by Cars.com. All drive, no drama. And in part by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed.
Crew bowling last night, yours truly. That was one of the 17 strikes I rolled. And you got to trash talk a little bit. And I found my friend Gay Mason, who works in our tape room, and you got to go with the chest bump as well. When you come to Lubbock, it's crew bowling night. We had a great time last night. It's a great crew. There's a lot of togetherness. It's a family that spends every weekend together. And this has been a terrific football game. 28-24. Now the response necessary again for Texas Tech.
You know, it's impressive. 17 strikes in 18 games. That's not too bad.
That's how I roll.
Dun-dun-dun.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw that.
Speaking of rolling one out of bounds. Kramer Fife hooks it out of bounds, and that is a mistake, or pardon me, Michael Honeycutt pulls it out of bounds.
I rule the ball be placed at the 35-yard line. First and 10.
So great field position for Texas Tech after we check in with Reese.
All right, guys, let's go inside the headset, brought to you by AT&T. Not sure you want to be on the receiving end of Gary Patterson's headset on this day against Kansas. Jayhawks trying to come back late. Chris Hackett with a pick. Fourth straight game with an interception for Hackett. That ended up sealing the deal. And the Horned Frogs, who were the biggest favorite of the entire day, won by only 4.
Crazy year in the Big 12. Down the sideline, Marquez, the intended receiver. And Zach Sanchez almost had his 6th interception of the season as Patrick Mahomes underthrew Bradley Marquez.
Yeah, he had it. Marquez got on top of him. Watch how Sanchez uses. Okay, now back inside. See, ooh, that ball had been thrown over the top. It had a chance. Sanchez actually defended that pretty well.
2nd down and 10. Mahomes right down the sideline again, and that's broken up. 5'6" Jakeem Grant, the intended receiver. 6' Quentin Hayes was able to knock it away.
Yeah, you look when he looks, and Quentin Hayes did just that. Did you see his eyes at the end of that play? It went right to Grant's eyes, and when Grant looked, he looked. Well played.
Hard to throw a ball over the top to a 5'6" receiver. 3rd down and 10. Four-man rush. Mahomes in trouble. Down he goes. Flag down. Did they get him around the head? Eric Stryker got the sack. And while Oklahoma celebrates, it's going to be holding against Texas Tech.
Offense number 62. Penalties decline. 4th down.
Just as Eric Stryker went around the helmet of Patrick Mahomes, the flag came out, but it is holding, and it's a 3-and-out for Texas Tech.
Watch LaRaven Clark right down here on Stryker, and he allows Stryker to get to the edge. Oh, there's the hold right back inside. It was LaRaven Clark, 62 on the other side. That was Thompson on this side.
6.5 sacks now on the season for Eric Stryker. Taylor Simak with a punt. That is fair, caught by Sanchez. So Oklahoma with the lead and the ball with 9.5 to go. It all comes down to this. For the first time ever, 4 drivers, 39 spoilers, 1 race. Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Newman drive for their first championship. 4 nations battle, 1 will prevail. It's the Ford EcoBoost 400 at Miami tomorrow at 1 Eastern on ESPN, and watch ESPN. Now Texas Tech has to get a stop on defense, and they have not been able to stop the OU ground attack at all here in the 2nd half. A wide run down the sideline goes Alex Ross, and that looks to be good enough for an Oklahoma 1st down.
So at the half, we said, look, they need to run the football. And then you heard Quint talk what he said about talking to Bob Stoops, and he said they had to be able to run the ball. Well, they've had 22 plays here in the 2nd half. 20 rushes, 2 passes, 234 yards of rushing. And I think they're settled into what they're going to do. And that's what they should have been doing from the start.
Loose again is Cody Thomas. Splits 2 defenders, as again the fake to Pirine drew a lot of attention from the Texas Tech defense. And that carry brings Oklahoma up to 317 yards rushing. Pirine, no one touches him into the secondary. That's too easy. A gain of 15 more for Samaje Pirine.
Yeah, he wanted more than that. He knew he missed his cut at the end of that. He is inflicting a lot of pain. He's, you know, he's 240 pounds. That's a big man.
Derek Dixon, the back safety there you see on the left side of your picture. It looks like his left arm is holding dead at his side. And Texas Tech has to hold to a field goal here. Another keeper for Cody Thomas. Turns the corner and takes a bump out of bounds. The Oklahoma sideline looking for a flag. Nothing comes out. It's a gain of about 5.
Yeah, this is just, they're doing what they wanted to do from the start, or from the start of the second half. And they're owning this front right now. They are completely manhandling.
P-Ryan up the middle. He's got another first down. Well, when we turned the tape on the other day and we started to watch this Oklahoma offense, and particularly the Texas Tech defense, you called this on Thursday. You said there really should be no reason to think that Oklahoma will not be able to run at will on this defense.
Yeah, and so what Mike Smith was able to do early was get movement, add extra guys into the box, and then they had some points. And here was the biggest thing. Josh Heupel decided to throw the football. In the second half, I think it's just 2 passes, and the rest have been all runs.
P-Ryan on first down. Caught from behind, goes down at about the 10-yard line. So here's the chance defensively for Texas Tech. This game is far from over if they hold to a field goal. Under 7 minutes to go. And a field goal makes it a 7-point game. Now it's second down from the 10. And what can you dial up if you're Mike Smith? Your guys are getting blown off the ball.
You're gonna have to roll the dice here, though, Shoes.
What can you do schematically?
Well, you're just gonna have to go man outside and bring everybody, and then you're gonna have to put somebody on the quarterback for that, because he's been running that keep a bunch. So get eyes on the quarterback and then just bring it. That's what they're doing right now. Oh, he's gonna throw.
Down inside the 5-yard line, stepping out of bounds is Aaron Ripkowski. So the play action picks up about 8 and sets up a huge play. Third down inside the 5-yard line.
It's a nice hit by Keenan Ward. The one thing he's got to be able to do is wrap his arms. But you're right. This is it. They've got to be able to hold it to a field goal here. And so what will Mike Smith do? He knows he doesn't have the horses up front. So you're going to have to bring extra numbers. But he's got to keep his eyes, one guy, he's got to keep his eyes on the quarterback so they don't run that boot either way, or that option. It's going to be, when he runs that dive with the option, you've got to have assignment football and have somebody on the quarterback.
Bob Stoops takes the maximum amount of time off the clock and spends a timeout before 3rd down and 2. Now, would you, if you're Josh Heupel, go play action again?
With the timeout.
You scored a touchdown the last time you were down in the red zone doing exactly that, selling out, figuring that Texas Tech would do that to stop the run, and you throw that quick play action over the top. Would you risk that again, or would you stay with your bread and butter and just give it to P-Ryan?
I would go with P-Ryan. P-Ryan's gotten you here. P-Ryan's proven that after contact, he's still worth a few more yards. You need 2. We're going to show you exactly what yards after contact mean. Now, there wasn't much contact right there. But here, P-Ryan, if you don't wrap up on him, he's still going. There's a couple times like that one and that one. It's not about the hit. It's about the wrap-up, and he's hard to wrap up. And you're right. You know, I played against Earl Campbell, and he was really brutal to tackle. And he ran. P-Ryan runs a lot like Earl, that he runs behind his pads. He's nice and low. He gives you a low target to hit. He gives you the top of his pads. It's tough to bring down. If you're coming out of the secondary, you got to take him out at the ankles.
Well, here we go. This might be the game for Texas Tech. Can they get a stop and force only a field goal? Can Oklahoma make it a 2-possession game? They give it to P-Ryan. He gets stood up. He may have a first down, though. It all depends upon the placement. It's a first down for Oklahoma inside the 1-yard line, depending on where the ball is spotted.
Depending on which foot he gave it, and he gave it to his lead foot, and that looks like, from our line, which is not official, it looks like he'll get the first. Well, regardless, you're still going to go for it down here.
A field goal makes it a 7-point game, but with the way they're running the ball, why would they not think they could get an inch?
Yeah.
Because if they're short, it's not by much more than the nose of the football, and it is a first down. That's a killer for Texas Tech. And Bob Stoops, I mean, barring a turnover, that all but guarantees the ball ends up in the end zone for Oklahoma.
When you see that head linesman run in, and you're a defender, you always hope he put it to the back foot. If he gives it to the front foot, yeah, your chances aren't so good. That's why you like to step on his foot before he gets there.
Previous play is under further review.
So they're going to review the spot and see if it was accurately marked by the officials on the field. But if this stays as an Oklahoma first down, 4 cracks at it from inside the 1-yard line with that guy running it, I mean, this spot almost guarantees that Oklahoma, you'd have to think, barring Texas Tech ripping the ball out, would end up in the end zone. So that was a huge inch or so of forward progress given to Piron.
That's really, you're not going to be able to overturn that. Kowski right there.
You can't see the football.
Savage inside.
It wasn't a bad job of gang tackling by Texas Tech, but
it was pretty good.
He only needed a yard to get the first down, and he was given just that on the spot.
Nice job by Derek Farnoy, the 6'9" offensive tackle.
First down.
So they stay with the call on the field. And it is 1st and goal for Oklahoma. Samaje Perine looking for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the game. Lines up as the I-back. And Oklahoma letting the clock wind down as far as they can. Under 5.5 minutes to go. Instead, it's the fullback. An extra effort by Ripkowski. And he is in for an Oklahoma touchdown. So the former walk-on fullback goes over for the 2nd time in his career. And that makes it a 2-possession game with 5:18 to go.
Nice job by that left side of the offensive line. And Blake Bell, the tight end, did a nice job. Rukowski was able to just follow right behind Tyrus Thompson in there and Shed in there. And it's a big physical group of guys.
Honeycutt stretches the lead to 11, 5:18 remaining. And again, a lot of the work done by Samaje Perine and Cody Thomas to move it down inside the 1-yard line. And Aaron Ripkowski stretches the lead. Welcome back. Time to answer our Aflac trivia question. Aflac. Cliff Kingsbury, at 35 years of age, is the 3rd youngest head coach in FBS. Can you name the other 2 head coaches that have him beat, that are younger? There's some young guys out there. P.J. Fleck, only 33 years old at Western Michigan. And we saw Matt Campbell's Toledo Rockets earlier this year. So now Texas Tech down by 2 scores. And they will start at their own 25 after we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. And the second half has been taken over by Oklahoma on the ground.
Well, you can see what Patrick Mahomes is able to do, and he's had himself a great game. But Samaje Perine has been the difference in this game. They just turned the ball over to him. And so if there's any chance right now for Texas Tech to get back into this game, I thought the last series they made a mistake by trying to go deep 2 in a row. Get your first downs and put yourself in a position. You need 2 scores.
They set the screen up to start this drive to DeAndre Washington. And he steps out of bounds, close to the 33-yard line. It's a gain of about 8 on first down. Dominique Alexander made the stop. And still plenty of time for Texas Tech. It may require an onside kick at some point, but with 2 timeouts and 5 minutes to go, as quickly as they can move the ball. Patrick Mahomes, well protected, deflected pass, almost intercepted. DeAndre Washington had it go right through his hands.
That's about drop number 4. About their average, a little below.
Well, they had 9 a couple of weeks ago. And even last week, or I should say 2 weeks ago, because they had the bye last week against Texas, I believe the number that the coaching staff counted in that game was 6. Mahomes on 3rd down, fires across his body, and it's incomplete. And now on 4th down and 2, 4:49 to go, down by 2 scores.
He's got to go for it.
You have to go for it, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't stop Oklahoma's run game.
That's it. He's got to get it. And doesn't have to get anything big. All you have to do is pick up the first. Move the chains.
Eric Stryker got a lot of pressure on Mahomes. 4th down and 2.
Going to go to the slot on the top side.
Four-man rush. Mahomes out of the pocket again. He might have to try and run for it. Reaches the ball out. Where is it spotted? It looks like he is just short. Dominique Alexander made the stop, and he will be short. On the way down, he reached the ball out to try and pick up the first down.
The rule on the field is that the runner was short of the line to gain. The ball will go over on downs.
He reached the ball past the line to gain, but when is his knee down? Right there, and where's the football?
The previous play is under further review.
They'll review it, and this is the football game for Texas Tech if this is not changed by the replay booth.
Whoa.
Very close.
Whoa, that's up to here.
Now, at the very least, it looks as if they're off by 6 or 8 inches on the field, and if he just barely gets that ball to the 35-yard line, it is a first down. But when is either his left elbow or left knee down, Matt, as best you can tell?
Well, right there.
Just short. That's just about exactly where they've got the football.
That's where you got to be.
And again, the precedent being set on the field that he's short of the line to gain. It's a quick review.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Short of the line to gain. First down.
So accurately called on the field. And a turnover on downs by Texas Tech.
But a pretty well officiated game.
Yes.
I will say that. And Oklahoma figured out at halftime what they had to do, and they did it, which was just pound the ball.
You wonder how this game may have turned out, and would have Oklahoma sweated it out as much as they did had their first half game plan resembled their second half game plan.
Yeah,
which was, we are just bigger, stronger, and better than Texas Tech, and we're going to run it with our bigger, stronger, better guys, because that's what they did the second half. And they'll do it again here with Perine. And he comes up hobbling a bit.
That's that ankle again.
Samaje Perine has to leave the field. So that will bring Alex Ross back in. Ross on second down. Popped about 3 yards shy of the first down. So now an absolute must stop coming for the Texas Tech defense. But let's take a look at what happened to Pirine. And it looked like that left knee went slightly in the wrong direction.
Yeah, they're looking at that ankle again, that left ankle. Right.
3rd down and 3. Cody Thomas has the first down. Lost the football on the way down, but they'll say he was down before the ball came out. And that actually may put him just a hair shy of the first down. Let's see where they mark it. This might require a measurement.
If the runner was down, we're going to measure.
I'm not so sure that Cody Thomas got the best spot.
He got a bad spot.
As it looked like, at least on our first down line, he was pretty clearly past it, but they have him marked down maybe just a hair shy. By inches, 4th down.
You can put your magnifying glass away now.
From right here, you're looking at about a 41-yard field goal.
Nah, just go ahead.
If you're Oklahoma, to try and stretch the lead, or you go for it on 4th down and all but end the game if you pick up the first. Well, they're going to leave their offense on the field, and now Texas Tech has to sell out to try to get a stop on downs. And Samaje Perine still on the Oklahoma sideline. Timeout now called by Cliff Kingsbury, and he allowed some time
30 seconds in
to come off the clock before spending that timeout. So Saturday Night Football on ABC coming up features an ACC showdown. Jameis Winston, an undefeated and 3rd-ranked Florida State, heading down to South Florida to take on the Hurricanes. Saturday Night Football on ABC at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, Florida State and Miami.
What's that Bama score right now? Do you know it?
Alabama was pulling away from Mississippi State, and they have stretched it out to 25-13 midway through the 4th quarter.
That's the team that's going to win it. It's Alabama.
Well, Mississippi State went into that game today as a #1 team, underdog by a larger margin than any #1 team in the past 30 years. But here we go, 4th down and inches. They go with the fullback right up the middle. Pretty good job by Texas Tech, but a second effort by Ripkowski gets the first down and then some. They had him stood up at first, but Ripkowski drives his legs for about 6 yards.
I like his second effort. He didn't quit. And Texas Tech didn't wrap up. Guavin just ran in there and threw his body in. That's a hit. That's not a tackle. You've got to go in and wrap up.
Perine back in the game. He pads his totals down to the 10-yard line.
Smart. See what he did at the end? Just he knew he didn't want to go out of bounds, so he just fell down.
And that puts Oklahoma up to 306 yards rushing in the second half. And that brings Samaje Perine over 200 yards. Up to 202 will go to go along with 2 touchdowns.
Jeez. 305, 68 in the first half.
Pirine up the middle for his third touchdown of the day. I'm sure every fan back in Norman, Matt, is probably and was probably saying the same thing that you were saying during the first half. Why not just take this game over on the ground? And that was the strategy in the second half, and it's worked to perfection.
Well, we've said all we needed to say about Samaje Perine, but I also will tell you this. His offensive line did a really nice job today, and so you got to take your hats off to Tyrus Thompson, number 71, their left tackle. Shed inside, number 74. Darlington, 56, their center. Darrell Williams and Farniok, and also Deontay Savage. Those guys posted a great game today.
42-24. 3 of the Oklahoma touchdowns by the true freshman Samaje Perine. 202 yards rushing, actually up to 213 now. 8.5 yards per carry. And we talked to Josh Heupel about him, and he said what we would be, even watching him on film, more surprised by when you see him in person. And that is not only his power and speed, but also his maturity, that he looks like a guy that has done this for 3 or 4 years at this level, and yet he is 2/3 of the way through, or 3/4 of the way through his first college football season.
Yeah, and then the way he handles himself, it's like he gets it. And so he hands the ball back to the official. There's nothing, you know, there's nothing outside the norm. He just does a nice job, understands his role, does his role, moves on.
So Hodgson to kick it off again. And Grant lets it bounce through the back of the end zone, and an opportunity to go back and check in again with Reese.
Bob, Mississippi State won't give up. 4th and goal, 19 seconds left in the game, down by 12. Dak Prescott, Jamian Lewis, 25-20, and now the onside kick is coming. And it bounced high, and Alabama recovered it. There is Todd Gurley now. He'll be back in action after missing 4 games. Georgia and Auburn coming up next.
So now the question becomes, Mississippi State loses to Alabama, but if they win out, would you put them back in the top 4?
Yeah,
arguably.
They're not going to drop very far. That's the kind of loss they needed if they were going to lose. It wasn't by much.
Patrick Mahomes thrown down by Eric Stryker again.
So I think what you saw when Ole Miss lost the first time and they dropped to 4th is probably what you'll see from Mississippi State here. Somebody's going to have to drop out because Alabama is going to go, they're going to jump up. So it'll be Oregon, Alabama, Mississippi State, my guess will be 4th. And then who's going to be 3rd? Probably Florida State.
Assuming they win tonight.
Assuming they win tonight. Now, if it's not an impressive win, they could drop.
Florida State, if they're undefeated, is going to drop out of the top 4.
They can do it. I got a kick out of drawing a blank here. Head coach Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher goes, hey, what do you do? They dropped us. I thought the idea was to win.
Inside of the final minute, Patrick Mahomes over the middle, and he hits Brad Pearson for the first time today for a first down.
Well, this is the best this offense has looked. I think Mahomes looks, he looked like the real deal today. He exploited this Sooner defense, and they're going to have some holes in that back end.
You wonder if you're Cliff Kingsbury, even if Davis Webb is healthy enough, do you turn this over to Patrick Mahomes and let him finish out the season? Does he have a brighter future than Webb? Because Webb has lost his spot at this point, arguably due to injury. He came into today in the top 10 in the Big 12, not only in the top 2. Yards per game passing, touchdowns, 300-yard games, completions.
Well, it's a good problem to have, that's for sure.
But Patrick Mahomes has looked very good today at times. Little screen scooped up by Washington. And we'll see if Texas Tech can get one more play off before the clock goes to zeros. It's going to take some time for Cliff Kingsbury, but he has an excellent recruiting class already, the makings of which coming in next season.
Yeah, he can improve his team with just some fundamentals. Number one is discipline. This is an undisciplined group.
He'll take a shot at the end zone, and on the last play, score to Dylan Cantrell.
And so you still have to be able to allow, even though the time has expired, the extra point.
The ruling on the field is touchdown. Because the differential is greater than 8 points, there will be no try.
There you go.
Game's over.
Well,
so some pride shown for Texas Tech at the gun, but they'll lose it by 12 to Oklahoma. And you talked about it before the game. Quinn Kesnick talked about it before the game. Oklahoma looks like the real deal getting off the bus. And that's what they were in the second half. They were just the better, bigger, more physical team.
Yeah, and they used just a freshman, a mature freshman. And he carried the day, over 200 yards rushing. And they will be counting on him for a lot of times.
42-30, Oklahoma wins it. So long from Lubbock. Our next stop, Auburn, Georgia.